Good, what I tell you, buddy?
Doing pretty good, myself.
I'm doing good. Jim, buddy.
Joe Ellis.
Thank you, sir. Well, what think about this weather around here?
It's cool in the mornings and hot in the afternoons.
It's wind out blowing today.
Yeah. Yesterday was a little windier and
That wind, what a bad year compared to what it had been.
yeah. It's bright. Not seeing a cloud.
Hey, Dad.
How about you today?
Same old thing, brother.
Good, good. You enjoy this weather?
Yeah, this wind out blowing.
Joe Ellis with McCall Gibson.
Yes, yes, I'm John Kelly, that's the rest of the board. Glad you could make it down here. You was already down here?
I was at Howard Pecos yesterday at Reed ESD1 meeting. So it just kind of works out with here.
Good, this is my wife Shirley.
Hi, Joseph Ellis. Yes. Nice to meet you.
Yes, I'm glad you worked out that way. You came by.
Would have better when came anyways.
Yeah.
I would have came over here.
That's good. Good.
I flew in yesterday. We've one of the last flight out today. 6:30 Houston.
I lose, go, I do.
It's not a bad flight.
I lose.
Once a direct flight. I found a flight to Dallas. Direct to Houston. It's usually makes it all day.
Every once in a while, we go about the Vegas sometime. And they got very few of them that's one way. They'll throw one in and you gotta go to Dallas, or you gotta go to Houston. When the crowd's trying to get there, you know, they're on plan.
Yeah.
Or longer. They gets old pretty quick, so. Did you meet, Gino?
No straight not.
Good. Hey, Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
This is Joseph Ellis. One of the,
Joseph, McCoggins.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you for making the trip out.
Oh, absolutely.
We
Not a
appreciate
problem.
that very much.
It's right.
when did they, put that online?
It's all right now.
Yeah.
I was told it was
I'm sorry if you can log on to it.
Yeah.
But you don't link it up on the website until after it's done.
No, it should be on the, and they might be putting it on, because you can't do it too early with YouTube, because it only gives you a short window. But next month, I'm hoping that all of our equipment is here and we go live.
Are we gonna have a YouTube name or will it?
We won't be YouTube, it'll be straight to our website.
Okay,
Mhm.
will it,
And so the website, you'll just click on it and there it'll be.
because it's not,
It'll be,
are we gonna wait for that before we post it on the website that we're doing that?
yes.
Because I had to look, trying to figure out where it's at. Okay. So they'll just, on the website, we'll have it
Kind of like
on the home page or something, where you can just click on it.
where you go to, it'll say agendas and notes and meetings, and then you pull that down and click on there. And then that page comes up and it'll give you the current and all prior. Or well, we won't have any, but as it's not just a year from now.
I might want to see if we can maybe say something on the front page, say go to notices of visitors for. Just so nobody's. They all know. See the notice.
We just kind of.
Better than
A lot better than you were last night.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. You're better? You didn't look too good last night. You didn't look too good at all. Hi.
Hello.
Great, how are you?
How are you?
Yeah, everything's fine. Pardon me? Yes, sir. Judy's right here.
Good.
I think you had it before.
How was Willis?
Great grandkids?
Yes. Yes.
One of these here.
We went to you first. So we'll have-
How are you?
Yeah, pretty good.
Your process is the same, but I make it easy. So I like it once you're down.
That's it.
That's what people are doing, just they're just crashing on the house. And I don't know why they got in trouble. Well, I think they put a lot of trash in that hole or something. And my neighbor's son was,
Altogether about 5 grand for the Final Four and Six Flags last weekend. Just watch Auburn play a negative second half.
Still fun. Everything wrong, and so we called the county and
Yeah. I mean,
they got
there's
us.
no way I was not gonna go, with it being San Antonio. And, Bill Haggins, I didn't. I asked him before long, and he was like, hey, we're not taking your 5 kids over there. And I said, your options are one person or 6 ducks. And I knew what his answer was probably gonna be, because he had told me before when I had suggested to go to pick a ball, and I would take 2 I mean, let him bring one friend. I can't do it, because you can narrow it down between the two people. But he can't bring between Scout and anything. One of them's gonna be.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, you know what? I'm just saying. I'm the same. Yes. Someone goes there. Right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. They get well. They're hungry, but market where people are from Africa. So it was a people there. They got like a foot and a half from the fence. It was one of those things that were off. So I don't think good. You hold the truth. I'm good, but I don't think you got a spare one, sir. How are you doing? Yeah, no, I'm not seeing it for it, but I'm going back up there and do inspection, so. And honestly, this government, these guys in Madrid, I think they've done so much throughout the city that coming up here was much of a hassle, kind of waste of this. Because it's working.
The only solution I have is I could send you with Demetri.
Good, how are you doing?
Or with, John, and then put it on his computer, let him print it out, and then you just have it out to the board.
Use this chair.
Good, thank you. You want to sit over here by you then? Okay. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm on my feet all day. No, I'm good, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
She's a standard, she's a standard.
I stand on them all day. She's a school teacher.
Oh,
Nice.
okay. She's used to it.
Yeah.
Is that the auditor? Okay.
The actual ones.
Well, there's ones that's making presentation.
It's a lot. They. He's in Wichita right now. Which is for me that he's got an awesome But when I came back, so last time we came through all that, I was actually at least 3 weeks. Last week,
Oh, that's good.
and now. Let me know. So you guys can come Saturday, which I don't have time to get something.
This point is time for discussion.
No, that's not start. That is what you hear.
Your wife has trained you well. You're Debbie? I'm Debbie.
Oh, well, hello there.
Right, but if we are
Okay, we're gonna call this meeting to order. It's April the 9th at 2:32. And we are at the location of the county utility district, 1039 North Moss in the board meeting room. And we're gonna call the meeting to order. First, I'll start out with public comment. If we got any non-agenda items that anyone would like to speak on. And I haven't got anything turned into me, so I'm assuming nobody wants to make a comment on non-agenda items, so we'll proceed to, we need to wait on Eddie.
He's making copies right now, Mr. President, but, let's see.
We could. No,
Sir,
are you ready?
I'm ready, you want, sir?
We'll skip him and we'll move on to you on number 3. On, agenda item number 3 is to discuss review. No, we don't want to bring you up yet until, later on down the line. When we talk about the,
Ready?
are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're gonna go with you then. Sorry.
Plenty of time. Yeah, plenty of time.
We got all that. Yeah, he said his was short, let's just. Pardon? Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Okay, so what I have here, there's two printouts. The first one is.
Wait, let me introduce you. This is Eddie Handrum, and he's with, the county, and, what's the name of your department?
Development Services.
Development Services. If there's a permit passed out, he's the one that does it, but, we've been visiting back and forth with him, trying to keep him informed on what ECUD's doing, and he's letting us know what they're doing in the county. So I asked him to come, just make a short presentation on kind of what's going on, so you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. What we're trying to prepare for is the new middle school that's going in on True. And so we're actually opening up Third Street. We're in the process of the right-of-way acquisitions at the moment. And we're going to be taking continuing third from, it stops at Redondo now. It's going to go away to Trip and then connect from Trip over to, where it stopped, I can't remember the name of the road now. But it's going to go all the way to Moss Road. We're going to take it all the way out to 866. So from 1936 all the way to 866, Third Street will be opened up. Some areas are going to be 3 lanes, some are going to be 2 lanes, some are going to be 5 lanes, just as we build and get the right away. So what we're doing right now is from Trip to, sorry, I cannot remember the street. Aztec. So we're taking from Trip to Aztec, which is a little bit further east, but we're going to be tying that in. And we're requesting that maybe possibility of extending the water lines across this, while we have this right of way opened up, before we get the road built, adding this road, or the water line through this area. It's going to open up some more development on both sides of Third Street for this entire location. And then we've also got, on the second page, you'll see that is from Trip to the existing third, right next to the Public Works Department. We're going to be shifting third up and down and around and maybe do a couple loops. But we'll get third through there with all the right-of-way acquisitions, and we've got to get it opened up for that school to help with the traffic. Our plan is also to open up Hundick on the south and to get all the way over to 1936 also. So we'll have multiple routes to get to the school and open that up for development. There's about 1,300 feet on both sides of water line that needs to be put in. Maybe about closer to 1,400 on the west side of Trip, but the east side is about 1,300 feet. And we're seeing what the board can do to maybe open this up. That is going to open up probably about 40 services on the east side of Trip. So there'll be another 40 connections to your water. The west side of Trip is probably going to be a little bit less, but it depends on what the developers or what anybody wants to do with that property, because it's all basically vacant land through there right now. But I'm sorry, I didn't get color, so you can see your lines are actually on this, and if you want, I can, Mr. Kelly, some pictures that show you where the water lines stop. And
On an extension on Third, they started Trip work both ways, or how long project we talking about?
well, the plan is right now we're working on Trip from 16th to just north of Third is going to be our phase 2 project. We're finalizing the plans now for that. Got a little bit of right-of-way acquisition on 16th and Trip, because we're actually going to signalize that intersection. So we're going to try to slow traffic. We're also going to open it up and put in some right turn lane only through that entire intersection. And then at Third Street, Third Street to the service road and the interstate, that's going to be phase 3. We've already awarded in Commissioner's Court on Tuesday to go ahead and move forward with that design for LC to get that design completed. We're going to signalize Third Trip also, trying to keep the traffic flowing and keep people from just making the speedway down there, because from 16th to 3rd, it's going to be a 3-lane with curb and gutter and sidewalk for the kids to have a walking area. Yes, we put in sidewalk. It's one of the first ones we're doing. So we'll continue the sidewalk all the way down to the school in phase 3, from 3rd down to the school. But that section is going to be 5 lanes and possibly 6 lanes for bus turning and
Entrance and exit from the school.
Yeah. And we're also going to signalize Hudson and the school because of the traffic coming in and out of there. But that signal is only going to be utilized during peak hours for drop off and for pickup. The rest of the time is going to be a yellow flash and a red flash on the other side. So it'll just be a dummy signal until we have the kids there. Basically, as long as the school flashers are on, that signal's going to be working. We got a lot of development, a lot of people talking about all this area around this, around the school. I've had a guy that's looking at 170 acres between the Waukegan development and the school. So we're going to build that all the way out to Redondo. Redondo is on our sites also. We're even talking to the landowners about getting the Redondo Hubnick. They've given us all on 3rd Street from where Waukegan ends all the way up to 1936. So they've been really gracious with the county and giving us this land.
So on the development side of the roads, besides the right of ways, are there any eminent domains or homes or businesses that are looking at to be purchased to widen those?
No, we're taking a little bit of land from everyone.
Okay.
Along 3rd Street.
Because I've been asked, and so what am I adding to that?
We sent out emails, or we sent out actually addressed letters to all the homeowners in 3rd Street, 16th intersection. I actually went to their homes and met with these. A lot of people on the Waukegan side don't live there yet.
Nope.
They bought the land. So we sent out letters to everyone, and we actually made our first purchase Tuesday for the neighbors. Farmers. We're actually working on redoing their fencing, getting all their tidied up on their property. So that's the first one, and everybody else has been really acceptive and responsive to this. So it's going to go through. So we're really excited about this. The county just purchased a new paving. How much they want that advertised, but it's in the minutes. So we will be paving in-house, which is awesome. And 3rd Street is going to be our first project in-house.
And the people in this room contributed to it that live here because it was the sales tax money that was used to purchase all that equipment. So, one other question. So, on the development side, you said you've got people that are positive about the land. So we know what the property is predominantly being used on the Waukegan side, being the front acreage on Trip and then the acreage behind them. So is that the same type of development that is looking to be on behind the school and to the south of the school?
Everything that everyone that has talked to me is really going to be residential. I can't claim residential since we don't have zoning in the county.
Right.
But most of them are saying that this is going to be 1 acre tracts or half-acre
The
tracts.
brick and mortar homes?
Or mobile homes. We have no regulations. on
Right,
that.
but I mean, since you have visited them, I'm just curious.
They're wanting to be family oriented. That's what they're seeing for that school. They want to be family oriented. I haven't heard of any heavy industrial or any kind of industrial
RV
discussion.
parks.
I have not had any of that yet. And I can tell the commissioners, I cannot
You
stop.
can't control it,
Yeah,
but once it's sold, you can sell 3 times and
Yeah.
You have no
No
jurisdiction over any of that, zoning or anything, but I'm just praying and hoping that there will be some actual homes built that are brick and mortar homes, because we all know that elementary schools are gonna feed this junior high. But our population, from being able to have that school in West Odessa, the population that we need to find housing for is for our teachers, for our nurses, for the admin staff, and all the way to the custodian and the kitchen help, the cafeteria help. So I need those brick and mortar homes for this area, because those people we want to move here and set up residence here. I don't really want our school to be officed and staffed with people that live in Monahans just because they can find brick and mortar homes close to them and then get on the interstate.
Well, the problem, yeah, the problem is that we don't have any control over that.
No, we don't. I'm just,
But I've seen the cases stuff, I'm not, hopefully, some
I'm just hoping.
contractor, will, yeah. will
So
do
if
that.
anybody has any way to persuade those people to come build here, let's persuade them.
Well, and it was my understanding at first that, E.R. Horton or one of them others was gonna build 3,000 homes out there to a certain individual. That's at the 11th, from that individual there. You know, so,
I do know that the developer that's between Waukegan and the actual school, he's got 170 acres he's purchasing. And he's wanting to do half-acre lots, so it's water.
That's great.
So that's gonna improve.
Yeah, so that'll be good.
so. Yeah. They got it?
How long is this project?
I'm sorry,
Help ask a question, Mr.
yes.
So how is this project being funded? Is the county
The county
paying for all this?
the county is funding all the development of the roads and the signalization. We have got a partnership with the school district for the signalization of Hudson and the school. They are looking to see what else they can do for us, since all this is really smart because of their location they picked. That's the reason we're coming to ECUD to, maybe do a partnership with them on the extension of these water lines.
Yeah, that was my next question. I mean, what type of, financial responsibility, is the county requesting from ECUD as far as this water line project? That's question one. And then with this developer you mentioned, is there going to be a reimbursement bond sale with this developer?
Now, he will pay for everything upfront. With all our developers, we don't partner with the developers. They have to pay for everything, and then they can recoup their money on the sale of their property.
So at this point, has there been any, plans as far as financial responsibility that water district may be passed up?
Just the water, the two extensions of the water lines where they tie in and finish out the loops.
And that was
Do you have
13.
any type of estimate or proposal from the county on that?
We don't price out water lines, so we don't have that capability. We just tell you that it's about 1,300 feet on one side and about 1,400 feet on the other side.
This is, Nicole, to me, it's just more of an informational deal, so we know what they're doing and maybe what they're expecting out of us, if at all.
Yeah, I can't make you guys do anything. It's whatever you feel like you're capable of doing. I'm just telling you the opportunity that there's gonna be a lot more connections to the building.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
How is project, planned to be?
We will be completely done by August of 26, with third and both phases.
Third all the way to March.
Yes.
We have time,
You got some time?
Yes, okay. Yeah, they can get back. Okay. I mean, we're always looking for new connections and more opportunities, so. And it is a positive, because we know that area is going to grow.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else? Any other questions? All right.
Thanks, Ed.
for your time. I will get out of this here.
All right, appreciate you coming out.
Y'all have a great time.
Well, I was thinking, we got him. Nicole,
Yes, sir.
on agenda item number 3, is this one where you need to hear from all of the auditors on their presentation?
Yes, sir. We have the 4 proposals are the 4 auditors, and they actually all 4 are in attendance. I'm happy to briefly introduce all 4. I think I heard you say Joseph Ellis, is that the person?
Yes.
So y'all want to hear from Joseph first and then?
Yeah, let me read the agenda and then I'll start with Mr. Ellis here. Okay, agenda item number 3 is discuss, review, and take any action on the engagement of new district auditor for fiscal year 2025 audit. And we have 1 present here at the meeting today and then 3 others online. So, Mr. Ellis? No, go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Joseph Ellis with McCall Gibson, Cleveland Marshwood Ellis. I brought a copy of our audit proposals for you. Look at, I'm sure we rolled out in advance for your board package, so hopefully you have a chance to come. Let's take you a presentation of our firm. Our firm was founded in 1987, which is 35 water districts, by Mr. Mike McCall in the Houston area. Since then, we have grown to just about 725 water districts across the state of Texas. Our firm is made up of 4 partners, myself, Chris Wheelan, Bill Warfoot, and Ashley Martin. We have 3 offices. We have 1 in Austin, which Ashley Martin manages, and then we have 1 in Dallas with Brian Lupera, one of our senior auditors, who does both our reports. Our clientele stretches all across the state. We have clients in El Paso, we'll be seeing on Friday. We have them all down in Brownsville, Amarillo area, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, and all around the Houston area. We also have ESDs. I was in town last night. I went to Pecos for Reeves County ESD numbers 1 and 2. So we do their audit and we do about 45 ESDs. Mostly around the Houston area, but I got 1 in Dallas and I got the 2 out in Pecos. I myself, I've been doing this for over half my life. I started in 1998 as a, I guess we call it workforce or high school employee, 4 hours a day, answered phones finally. And Mr. Mike McCall offered me a job after high school saying, if you want to go to U of H or college here in town, we'll do a full-time job. And I've been there ever since. I haven't left. I've been doing it for 26 years. Met my wife in the industry, got 3 kids. I love what I do. Our firm, this is all that we do. We don't do any bookkeeping, we don't do any tax work, we don't do not-for-profits anymore. We focus 100% on government audits. We're aware that you have a deadline of 135 days after you're in, and as long as there's not any outside issues, we make that goal to make that deadline every week. We take pride in that deadline, support for you, support for us, support for the state. Our firm is made up of 42 employees. We have 4 partners, and then we have 14 other CPAs that make up the firm. I got 2 more that are sitting for exam right now, and hopefully they'll be passing it this year. Most of our staff longevity have been there 10, 12 plus years. We feel like we have a good family environment in our office, and everybody seems to like that, and it seems to keep everybody around. You've had people take leave of absence for having kids and things like that, and they come back because it's a good place to work for. Currently hiring kids out of college as well, giving them opportunities. Sometimes it's hard for them to find that first job, and we've been very lucky and fortunate in that and hiring good quality. Outside of that, our engagement layer, there's an estimated fee range in there. It's our best estimate based on looking at your financial records that you have online. Nicole had also sent me some of your financial information. Just kind of look over, give the best estimate. You have one outstanding bond sale. The activity is not overly complicated. So based on the 9 hours, I think I can do the work. There is a fee range in that package. We also have one of our employees' parents live out here in Odessa, one of our senior accountants. So he's already volunteered to come out here and work on the audit. When I mentioned it last week at our staff meeting, so he was very eager and threw his name in the hat. And so we definitely have a presence out here if you choose to hire us. I'm a very hands-on kind of guy. I like to be at the meetings. That's why I'm here. I know I had a meeting last night, but that wouldn't have mattered anyways. I would have came out here to see you, no matter what. We'll come out here and present your audit. Just because we're located in the Houston area and you're out here in Odessa doesn't mean anything to me. We'll come out here and visit with you as much as you would like. Also part of our audit group is we have a agreed upon procedure team, development reimbursement. If down the line you have development in the district and you have the snow bonds to reimburse your developer, we have a team of 5 employees. This is all that they do year round. Once they're experts in that, knowing the rules from TCEQ, understanding the bond sales, working with engineers in order to make sure every penny is accounted for that the developer is asking for reimbursement. And so when that time comes, if you have to do anything like that, our team is staffed up to perform such services. Any questions for me?
Not bad. So when it comes to the audit, you'll be out here doing an audit on our location.
It depends on how y'all want to set that up. I don't know if I'll send the records out, or if you do it on site. Either way will work just fine. We do it. We get things shipped to us paper form in boxes. We take it electronically, and if we need to be on site, we'll come here on site. If we come out on site, it'll be myself and probably 2 other staff. Come here, a staff accountant and a senior. We would go through your records. We would go through internal controls of operations, billings, those things, as well as all your financial expenses and revenues coming in. It's whatever how you want to proceed.
Any questions? Pretty clear. Take care of.
How many months we take good care of? Out of the, see, we do about 690 registry.
That's basically that, and then
We have ESDs.
ESDs.
Yep.
That's all you all do.
All we do.
So every day.
Yes, sir. It's this day, Texas.
Plenty familiar with the Texas Water Board and ECUD.
Oh, yes, sir. Very much so.
All the regulations.
Yes, sir.
I don't have more questions. So, Sheriff, we got any questions on that?
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you coming out.
No, thanks for having me.
Something, I mean, come down, we want to make a few changes. This is definitely one of them that we're looking at. The fact that that's all that you do is, the fact that all you do is audit, but the fact all you do is audit on much.
No, I understand, and I understand your point of view on, having a new set of eyes. Just, the way our firm is set up with 40+ employees, we do a rotation, every couple of years. The first year you'll have a senior and a staff person, I'll be the partner on it. But every 3 years, we rotate the staff, rotate the managers, not both at the same time, but always to have that new set of eyes. I want to try to keep it new perspectives, anybody get complacent, work on the same audit, rotate internally just for that reason.
We appreciate the presentation.
I appreciate the extra effort that you time to describe of being in our area.
It just worked out.
Yeah.
And what was this established?
Our firm, 1987.
And as reputation wise, how do you consider the firm's reputation?
We were the largest in the state of Texas. We get calls daily for new clients.
You good? appreciate your time.
Excellent. I don't know if I'm gonna make decisions today or not, but I'll leave some letters for y'all to sign, and a copy of my form 295, y'all keep that in this office. And I look forward to working with you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. A couple of them hard to hear, so you're gonna speak up a little bit.
I need to speak louder.
They probably need external speaker.
All right, try it one more time.
Okay, do you want to take Mr. Trevor, he's with the ECUD, he is the auditor that, Gerald had reached out to.
Yes.
For the next,
Yeah,
the next
that's right.
presentation.
Yeah, that's fine on the next one.
Mr. Trevor,
Yeah, good afternoon. Can y'all hear me okay?
I think so. We'll stop you if I can, but
All right, awesome. Well, thank you for having me here, Cynthia, and tell you a little bit about my firm and myself and how we can be a resource for you, not just during the audit, but also throughout the year. As you might know, we have worked with the district before we audit fiscal year 2022. And so we're excited to possibly, get to work with you all again. I know back then it was a totally different board. I'm aware of that. So I'll just kind of go over and tell you a little bit about our firm, about myself, and then I'll open it up to any questions you might have. So our firm, was established back in 1983, so over 40 years ago. Currently, we have 94 partners, about 950 employees in total. Our offices are throughout the state of Texas. So we have an office in Austin. We have a couple of offices in DSWs. We have one in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Plano. We also have one in Houston and San Antonio, and we also have an office in Midland and another one in Odessa. And then the last office is also in Hobbs, New Mexico, which is almost Texas, but not quite Texas. So outside of that, all our offices are in the state of Texas. So as a firm, we are ranked number 34 in the U.S. Just from Accounting Today, the top 100 firms, we are ranked number 34. As far as what makes us different from other firms, so any firm that you're going to have present to you here can probably come in and audit and issue an audit opinion on your financial statement. So we can do that too. I feel what makes us different from other firms is that we have a team dedicated 100% to auditing governmental entities, including water districts, utility districts. So our team, our public sector team, it's about 50. I think we're about 50, anywhere between 50 and 55, depending on how many interns we have. And so our team is dedicated 100% to serving governmental entities, which means that we don't work on tax, we don't work on bank audit, we don't work on any corporate audits. Year round, all that we work on is governmental entities. So that includes anything that has any type of single audit, any type of compliance requirement, things like that. So that's what our team does. So that also allows us to be on top of any new pronouncements that are out there, any federal and state requirements. So that's pretty much what our team does. Some of the clients that we have locally, we do audit Edgar County. We also audit Edgar County ISD. We also audit the Emergency Communication District of Edgar County, the Midland Odessa Urban Transit District, Odessa Development Corporation. We don't audit them, but we do perform some compliance work for them. Midland Central Appraisal District, other clients that we have local to you will be Permian Basin Workforce Development Board. In the past, we've also worked with Midland County Utility District, as well as Crane County Water District. So we do have a lot of clients throughout the area. Personally, I'm out of the Fort Worth office technically, but I do live in Abilene, Texas, so I'm a couple hours away from you all. And so I work out of Abilene. The team that I have proposed is part of the public sector team, which is on West Texas as well. And so I've been doing this for about 18 years now. The majority of that time I've been auditing governmental entities, utility districts, counties, cities, school districts, performing single audits.
And so I've done that for the majority of my career. I've been with Penn for about 4 years now. Previously, I was with another firm in Texas. As far as that's pretty much it for me. As far as the approach that we take for the audit, I believe it's pretty similar to what was mentioned before. So we come on site. We're pretty flexible. As far as being on site or not being on site, we have clients that prefer for us to do our audits remotely, and so we can work with that. I personally prefer to be on site, but again, we can work with our clients, and whatever works for y'all works for us. As far as being present at meetings, things like that, that's very cool for me. Like I said, I'm only a couple hours away, so I'm in the middle of this all the time. I have a lot of clients out there, and so that's not an issue to me. As far as our audit approach, we like to communicate, we like to have open communication with management, with the board. If there's any issues that come up during the audit, we like to bring those up as soon as possible, make sure that we work with things, make sure that we have all the facts, and then just kind of go from there. As far as the timing, again, we're pretty flexible. We have a team of over 50 professionals that are this is all we do all year. We don't do we don't do tax work, we don't do any of that. We don't share our staff with those departments either. So we're pretty flexible, whatever timeline works for you, whatever weeks work for you, field works. We're okay with those. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Hey, you mentioned at the end of your presentation that you had worked with ECUD before. And how long ago was that? How long ago was that?
We were brought in by the board at that time, by board members at that time. And then subsequently, I believe the ECUD went back to the old auditors, I believe are the current auditors. And so it was in 2022 when we worked with you.
What was your name again?
Roger, 12 hours.
Roger, this is John Kelly. How many months do y'all take care of our ESDs? Do you have any? In the state of Texas.
In the state of Texas. So I mentioned a couple of them. I work with Tarrant County ESD, Wise County ESD. Those are just people from my clients. I have 3 other partners that work within my area, so they might help with what I can right now. As far as we worked with y'all before, we worked with some transit utility district out in West Texas, electric companies. We've also worked with the Port Area Water Authority, Gulf Coast Water Authority. So we have, if I have to guess, probably around 10 or so.
10 or so water districts.
Or similar entities, yes, like water authorities, things like that.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I'm just wondering, so the year that y'all did audit for ECUD, what was the reason for them to discontinue use?
Honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I know Dave came in towards the end of the audit, and I sent, we sent the engagement letter for the next fiscal year, and she informed me that the board wanted to go back to the old auditor, and I believe they voted to go back to the old auditor, but it wasn't. If there's a reason, I wasn't given.
It was just a board decision and not necessarily anything that they were dissatisfied with.
I believe so, yes, sir.
Okay.
Were you the primary one who worked on the 2022 fiscal year audit?
Yes, I was. I was on site, days to working with Debbie and Joanna, I believe was her name back then. So yes, I was on site a few times, just trying to get it done. I know we got hired back in those days. We got hired in November, and that's when the whole election happened for the board. We got contacted by one of the board members who came in, and I talked to the board member, and we were supposed to start in December, the audit. And then I believe subsequently that board member left the board by December. So he was gone, and then we
we didn't get the audit started on time because there was a lot of stuff going on with the board at the time. But then Deb came in, I worked with her, and then we got the audit issued a couple months after that.
Okay.
Hi, Roger.
Thanks.
Well, I think that pretty well covers it for us, unless you got anything else you want to add.
No, I'm good.
Okay, we appreciate it, Roger. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you for being on the call. Next, I'm just gonna go in order, filing out the proposals. We have Jill Hensley with 311 Company. She's also on the line.
What was the company?
311.
Breedlove, okay.
Hi, Jill. Hello.
Breedlove.
311, yes. 311, yes.
And what was your name?
Pardon?
What was your name?
My name's Jill Hensley.
Okay, good. Hang on just a second. Is there anybody who can turn the volume up on the speaker? That's as loud as it is. They're having trouble in hearing, and I'm getting text people can't hear. Okay, go ahead, Jill.
Why don't you give that speaker?
You what?
Remember there was talk about that last meeting?
Yeah. Well, the equipment hadn't come in yet, I'm assuming, so hopefully when the new equipment comes in, it'll solve that problem.
Yes, understood. All right, Jill.
We're in West Texas, not Houston.
Yeah.
We don't get things as fast.
So, my name is Jill Hensley, and I'm with Refunding Company, and I've been here since 2002, and I worked with Mr. Breedlove when I was in high school back in 1990 and summer 92. We are a smaller firm. We are only 10 people, and we have 7 professionals. So the plus with us would be that you always do get the same people, and you do rotate, can rotate within, but you may, you're gonna get the person that you're working with. That would be a consistent person throughout. We have people that have been here 15, 20 years. We are diversified. We do not do just audit. We do tax and consulting and all that kind of stuff too. So we're probably 50-50. And then governmental, though, I would say is a huge chunk of our audit practice. And so we do some MUD, some ESDs, some management districts. So we're pretty familiar with that governmental accounting and auditing. And on a MUD district in particular, we check controls, we check to make sure people are being billed correctly. We can do things like, if you should need a reimbursement audit, we can do things like that. We can do on-site, or we can, receive the records in the office, whichever you prefer, or online. We're pretty flexible with that. The 9/30 year end is a nice time of year for us since we do have a tax practice. I'm trying to think of what else. I myself went to Texas A&M University, and I've been a CPA since 1996. And that's pretty much it. We set our fee range in the proposal sent to you, and that is what we are suggesting. So, do you guys have any questions, Brad?
You stated you do some governmental auditing, and so you're familiar with that part. Do you do any MUDs at all, or EMD?
Yes, we do a few MUDs. I wouldn't say that's huge. We do about 4 other MUDs.
Okay.
And then there's been times when we've done more, sometimes, it just depends. But we've had 4 for many, many years now.
So, are y'all familiar with the ECUD regulations and then water board and all of that?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
And I know we need to, the accounting has to be done. Hopefully we get the records within 45 days, I think, after year end. And then after 120 days, we need to get your draft. And then we have to file it within 135 days of year end. Yes.
The MUDs that you do represent, can you give me at least one of the biggest counties?
They're all in, well, 3 are in Harris County, 1
Okay.
is in Hayes,
Okay,
over by Austin.
And you're out of Houston?
We're in Spring, just north of Houston, yes.
Okay. You got any questions? No, sure.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, I think that covers it on our end, Bill.
All right, thanks very much.
Thank you for your time.
And next, we have, John Watson, with First Watson. Hi, John, how are you?
Hi, good. Thanks, thanks for the intro. I'm gonna be pretty brief. My name is John Watson. I'm with the owner from Brooks Watson and Company. I think you have 4 good applicants here. Familiar with all 4, obviously familiar with my firm, but yeah, did a good job of acquiring applicants. Calls were great. The other 2 as well. We picked up audits and seen their work papers over the years. So I think you have a pretty good diverse group here. As far as us, Breed Club is probably the smallest, and then we're a little bigger than Breed Club. We're 20 employees, 20 plus as far as audit. We're basically out of Northeast Houston. We have another office in Fort Worth. Unlike Breed Club, but like the other 2, we focus exclusively on audits and the vast majority of our governments. So Texas governments are where our experience and our expertise is. We audit over 75 governments. It's probably over 100. I just haven't done a count recently, which includes special purpose districts, all those entities that I've heard asked about earlier. Probably a benefit going last. But yeah, we audit all of those types of entities, including water districts. Our firm, it's kind of mentioned in our proposal, but these proposals are kind of robust, so it kind of gets buried in the details. But we focus on experience. All of our auditors have experience, unlike at least 1 or 2 of the other folks. We don't hire straight out of college. There's so much to be learned. College is great, but nobody's really ready to audit at a high level coming out of college. So we kind of look to pick people up after 1 or 2 years and then train them in our ways. And we've had great experience with that, had great retention, and blessed with. We travel all over Texas. We've got clients north, east, and west. West, we haven't gotten quite as much traction really past San Antonio, but got a fair number out that way. We're more heavy north than east, but looking to grow that direction. Familiar with TCQ requirements, 135 days, all that. We deal with that with other clients. Flexible approach, just like I've heard from, I think, all 3. So when we plan to come on site, we definitely can do a lot of the work remotely and can do a lot of it on site as well. Like I said, we travel all over Texas, and this is what we do. So yeah, so a lot of similarities with the other firms, and yeah, hope you got some good fee estimates, because I really can tell you, I think a lot of these firms will do a good job for you, including ours.
how many MUDs do you currently do?
So currently, we have water districts, different types of
Yeah.
water districts. We're at like 6, so that's what we have.
Is that counting water districts or just those MUDs?
Yeah, that's WISs and SUDs, various. They all kind of subscribe to the same TCQ guidelines for us, so very similar audits.
Okay. Any questions?
I don't have anything. You pretty well covered it along with the rest of them, so.
All right, well, good luck to y'all.
All right, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
So, board can discuss the form, as I noted in the email, the basis of awarding the contract needs to be based on, competency and qualifications and, fair and reasonable price. We don't typically discuss the prices, but y'all do have the prices in the engagement letters that all 4 sent and I provided to the board. Y'all can discuss, take action, make a motion today. If we needed to table it next month, we want to discuss, think about it over a month, you can do that as well. But I would say typically most of the boards I work with, they'll discuss it If y'all need more time to think about it, I know it's a big decision. But it's whatever the board would like to do.
Okay. I personally know who I would favor, but I don't know about y'all. Yeah. Well, if we want to discuss this and table it for now, Nicole, how do we go about doing that without having a board meeting? Or are we going to discuss it right now?
I'm sorry, say that again, Mr. Kelly?
If we want to discuss this, we can discuss this right now in the open.
Yeah, it's an open discussion. It has to be an open.
Okay.
What I was saying is if you wanted to table it and y'all think about it for a month at home and then come back to the next meeting and discuss it. But
Well, personally, I just think get it done today. We can come to some sort of agreement, but, and Troy called me today because he couldn't be here and he said his preference was Whitney Penn, but, and solely because they were local, but, from what I've heard and talking to the others, I would, I prefer, Mr. Ellis's firm because of the number of muds they do take care of here in the state of Texas.
That's all they do.
Yeah,
So,
that's my personal opinion, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure all of them are good, but I think what we're looking for is, what we call Gibson Hassel offer. I don't, there's nothing that they should have.
I'm sure they're all qualified.
Yes.
And the young lady,
I've
Jill,
worked with 3 of the 4. Bill and I can work with this, but, you know, reviewing their qualifications, they seem just as qualified as well.
yeah, I think they are probably.
But
But
I worked with Paul Gibson for my entire career, almost 15 years, and I worked with Joseph Ellis. He's actually the auditor, on 3 of the districts, that I work with,
yeah,
the ESD side. And he works with, a ton of the water districts that, my firm works with.
But before I make a decision, I would like to know from David that you seem to have an answer for how come Whitney Penn got separated from ECUD.
It was, price. There was a $10,000 or $12,000 difference in price.
That's it. But how about were they doing a good job or no?
I mean, their audit that they did was good.
They were always on time, compliant.
and this is just rumor, so I don't know how so it is, but I think it was an internal board decision. If one didn't like the other or whatever, but regardless, I don't think Whitney Penn was doing anything wrong. And so they were relieved, and I guess Painting Company took over then, for Forrest, I don't know whichever one it was. I don't think they did anything. And I don't know why legally can should the price not come into it? Because
I'm sorry, Mr. Kelly?
why is it that the price should not be an issue?
It can be part of it. It just has to be a fair and reasonable price. But professional services, you can't go out for competitive bid.
Okay. And these were all
So
over
you
the
do
place.
have the qualifications and their estimates for all 4 of them.
So what's the difference in price between Paul Gibson and?
I think Ellis was around 40 a year. I mean, it went from 20,000 up to 55,000 on these 4.
Price on this one? Is that what he's asking?
Yeah,
So what's the difference? What was like the amount of different price? I think it's changed.
You'll go to page 6.
they
Go
offered
to the
me.
6th, at the very bottom of the page. bottom of the page. This is the only one that I've seen. I haven't seen any of that.
You all should have received our board.
Yeah, I've got one through email on all of them. But my baby's still on Ellis is because of the amount of muds that they do cover, and that's all they do. And they're the largest.
The other thing is pretty much have a local.
Yeah, he's got an auditor that jumping at the chance to come down here when he has to. So, don't mean it won't cost you. It's a cost you. It's just via.
You can't charge us for coming to see one.
But if he's working, he can. But who's your preference?
McCall Gibson.
Is that it?
Yeah.
They got so darn many names I can't keep it.
McCall Gibson.
Yeah, Carl Gibson's trying to look forward to it.
Any other questions?
You think, are you comfortable doing a decision now? You want to make a motion?
Let's see. So I motion to accept or to engagement of McCall Gibson. One, I said, Barfoot, Ellis as district auditor
For 2025?
for 2025.
Hey, Susan? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay.
Calling Jeff Avery, mobile. I think Mr. Ellis left and gave a letter for y'all to sign. You'll, get that signed, and send that over, send that to him. I will reach out to the other three auditors, let them know of the board's decision, and thank them for their proposals.
Okay. Thank you. Favor? I don't know. I don't know how national economy makes sense. Okay. Agenda item number 4, discuss, review, take any action on training opportunities for employees, including approval of education commitment to employment agreement for the same. And we have a comment from Tommy Irwin.
John, the employees for years and years and years at ECUD have been asked to be trained to do a license, a B license, and a C license. And I'm assuming that y'all probably know that an A license has to be involved in a certain amount of hours per month, B license, a certain amount of hours per month, and a C license. And also somebody has to cover for the C license whenever a test is not being made or could not be made, even on Christmas Day. System's got to be tested every day of the week, 365. And it takes a long time to make that happen. And not only do they have to go to some kind of class or schools to get that education, they also have to work underneath at least a B license. Does that sound correct?
And
Not
this
an A.
this is a GMB license.
So they would be working under these licenses for a certain number of years. It's getting an employee to commit to that position. I applaud you guys for taking on this task because it is a big deal. And will it save money for ECUD today, this year? No, not a snowball chance in hell. Because you're double paying people. But is it going to help in 3 years and 4 years down the road? Yes, not a question. It's a long drawn out process. I watched y'all's board meeting last month, and again, it's a good move. Good move for you. It just takes time and it costs money and patience. And you have to pay these people, because if you don't pay these people according to our competition, what's going to happen is they're going to work after they get trained. They'll go work for a city, bigger city, or they'll go work for Parkhill, Smith and Cooper operations. Seen it done way more than once. Seen it. Edna.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Have you talked to the employees?
I have.
And
And so, we think we have 3 employees that would go to the training, in September to Waco. And so in your package is the cost of what that would entail. There is a $75 membership fee to TWUA. The early registration before July would be $310. So that would be a total of $385 for those 3 employees, which would be $1,155. And then, of course, the additional cost of their hotel and their expenses.
Can you give me a copy of that? The ones in our packet, we'll send out.
Where's the back?
Yeah, look, yes, ma'am.
Just because I have a draft agreement, drafted, I just needed to know, the dollar amount.
you gotta send us a copy of that agreement, Nicole?
Yeah, well, I still needed to get a little bit more information.
Okay,
Now, once I get, that one's in my packet, but, once I get that, I'll be able to finalize that agreement and get that to the board. And confirm, we have some of this cost in the budget, Debbie?
Yes, ma'am.
Training, okay, thank you. And we're looking at saying 3 employees,
Yes, ma'am.
do you have any amount idea on hotels and, food costs, or we get a set dollar amount, but not to exceed?
They haven't released the room rates. When I went to look at the room rates in Waco, they're average anywhere between $250 to $300 a night.
Damn.
How many nights is the course study?
Let's see, it would be, 2 nights. Yeah, so if they start at 8, so that would be, I think, I would count 3 nights.
Yeah, get there the day before.
We need to send them an RV.
$1,155 is it per employee or is it for all 3 employees?
So the total is $75 per person and then $310 per person for a total per person of $385. The recommendation is to send 3 employees for a total of $1,155 for their schooling. That is for their registration and for their membership fee, if we were to only send 3 people. Plus additional cost would be hotel and meals.
Okay. And they're going county vehicle,
Yes, sir.
the county pays the gas, yes. Do they have county credit card?
To be true of that.
Well, all this money will be out of the company cost, right?
Yeah.
And, Tommy said, I mean, it would have benefit immediately now, but 3 years from now, we're gonna be like, man, we should have done this.
Yeah.
So we gotta start somewhere.
And,
And again, I mean, we said this last time, will we stop using PSC completely? Probably not. The way that we're planning to grow, the way things are going, we're just trying to find a place to cut some costs. And better educate our employees out here. So, I mean, they may catch something that on a regular routine that might not be coming out for a day or 2 or something. So,
well, if you're also looking, I've heard that y'all are revisiting the water source, developing wells for ECUD again, or at least looking back into that. That's something moving forward in the future you will need additional, you'll need your own staff with the water licenses to operate that for you, or else you'll end up contracting that back out. And I would think that,
Run that back.
I heard that there was talk of wells being developed again, or I know that there was one time a few years ago, it was looked at that ECUD was trying to develop their own water source. If that ever does happen in the future, you're gonna need licensed operators that work for you, or you will have to contract that work out.
Yeah, I don't know where you heard that, but it wasn't from this one.
Yeah, I didn't hear it before, it's just community talk, stuff out there in the streets. Getting brought up.
Yeah, but I'm in agreement. We don't do it now. You know, we're gonna say we should have. It's like a lot of things should have been done years ago, but it wasn't done. And I understand that it's gonna be hard to keep employees and hooked up, but, you know, start out with the agreement, and if that don't work, we'll figure out something else. But I personally would like to do it. Yes, ma'am.
So what I'll do is I'll, put that, you know, we'll pay your registration and, the membership fees, and then I won't put a specific dollar amount for hotel and meals, but I'll just say, you know, that will cover, and reimburse for any reasonable expenses, those 2.5 days, 3 days. And I'm gonna put that they're gonna commit to stay with ECUD for 12 months, following the training.
12 months long enough?
That's up to y'all, I mean, it's,
I don't think it's long enough.
I think it's long enough.
so,
I'd say minimum of 24. What do you think? Wait a minute.
I mean, so the dollar amount is fairly small, typically,
But I don't want to have to be doing this every 2 years or every year, because one guy says, well, whatever, even though he signs this contract, it may not matter to them, you know, if there's no penalty or remuneration on it, you know, and he won't care, he'll go on down the road, and then we'll be starting all over again, doing the same thing.
100%, even with this agreement, I mean, they could sign this in 6 months if they could.
Yeah.
I mean, the recourse is the district's gonna sue them. I'll probably advise y'all that it's not worth y'all suing, you know, for the employee that you spent probably less than $2,000 to train when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think we can come up with some kind of incentive for it.
Yeah.
Sweeten the deal for them.
I mean,
So,
eventually we might offer them a bonus or something if they stay on so long or something like that, but I'm fine with the contract
Well, I
right
think
now.
that would be part of, you know, your compensation that, you know, ECUD will have for employees based on.
Right,
their
yes.
Certifications, but
Yeah.
as far as the, you know, that we're gonna pay for your training and you're gonna commit to stay with us for X amount of time.
Okay.
Typically, you see 12 months, but I can put 24 months if that's what the board.
Why do you think 12? Because Jesus wants 3 years, 36 months. I don't know what Darrell wants, or thinks, but where'd you come up with the 12 months on it? I mean,
So it's a small amount that you're quote investing into the, so for that dollar amount, 12 months is reasonable. I mean, I've had a paramedic enter typically in the same agreement. I mean, their cost, the whole course, it was like almost a year-long paramedic course. And then they sit for their paramedic exam. That was like $7,000. And they still only did a 12-month commitment to stay with the entity.
did we have them re-sign it in 12 months for another 12?
No, because they were an employee at that point. It was just that we were contributing to advance, you know, to their education, and that's what you're doing. But I mean, this is a small amount per person.
Yeah, but the permit
The
is
whole
like,
registration fee is only $400. This was like this was an 8-month course. This is only a 2-day training.
yeah, but the license stays with them.
I understand that, but we're not gonna pay for the renewal every year of it.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll try 12 months. You okay with that, Jesus, after listening, or you still want more?
I'll put 24. I'm just saying we're not putting a ton of money into each person.
It's not about the money. It's not an issue about the money. It's about, this will open its doors at other MUDs.
Understood.
So we're trying to keep him here and not, let him go to other
Well,
districts.
I think the advantage is,
Remember, our only recourse if they were to breach it is to have to sue them. That's our only recourse.
yeah, and they'll
It's
have
easier to
to,
say, I'll commit for a year that you invested in me and put, pay for my training for the certification. Maybe harder for someone to sign an agreement for 2 years, 3 years. Things could change in their life. Their spouse could be moved and they have to move. I think 12 months is reasonable, but I will put 24 months if that's what the board's decision.
at the end of 12 months, they have to, renew, repay for the license, what?
No, there's nothing to that.
A license for life? Hang on a second.
We're paying for this one-time training,
Right,
and they're committing to stay as an employee for 12 months.
okay, hang on a second.
What's typical and reasonable, one class doesn't get you a license, right? It's just continuing process. It's not gonna happen quickly. Like for a B license, it's 8 classes.
Okay.
And experience. So what you can do is each time you provide that training for them and pay for it, you can have them sign the agreement for that class for a 12-month period. And when you pay for them to sit for the license itself, you pay for that and you can have it for a 12-month period. That gives you 12 months of having a B licensed operator where you can negotiate, incentivize, make a commitment to them and keep them as part of your team. So each time you provide educational opportunities, you can extend that a 12-month period.
Yeah.
And that's typical.
Okay.
So, but it's 8 classes to get a B license. So it's not long.
Did you hear any of that, Nicole?
Yeah.
Okay, and that was Josh, and he's with VSA, so. Okay.
Say, because of this is investing in me, I'm gonna commit to staying with them for 12 months.
Okay, that's good. 12 months.
But I'm gonna leave it kind of generic so that it covers, if they go, for training for their B license,
Sure.
or maybe A license.
Okay. All right.
And at this point, I may keep the dollar amount fairly vague, because I guess the training training and conference and registration fees and membership fees could change from course to course, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so on agenda item 4,
I would say for no action, and then let me finish it up, and then have to y'all for next month to officially approve and then present to those 3 employees.
okay.
Because the training's not until September.
All right, that's gonna be the same as table.
Yeah, I typically just say no action and, keep it all for next month.
All right, so no action on agenda item 4. Or we'll table it till next month at the agenda or the board meeting. Okay, agenda item 5. Discuss, review, and take any action to provide a discount to customers for multiple water taps and purchase. We have a comment from Tony Early.
Thanks, John. Back on September 24th of 2024, when he was town hall meeting, John had said, quote, if ECUD is dropped O&M tax, we may have to come back and ask you folks for some more money to operate ECUD. So my question is, and I know y'all not going to answer it, so my statement is why in the world would you cut back some of the revenue whenever a particular tap, I know I see you shaking your head, so maybe I'm saying something wrong.
No, you're.
Okay, so a tap and a service cost ECUD amount of money. Today, when it's done, next month, years down the road, whenever the saddle comes apart, or you have to change that water meter, no cost, which y'all are fixing to have to do, because a lot of them 5 years old, these high volume meters are way out of 2% accuracy. I think y'all might realize that. If you don't, then it's here. You're giving a lot of water away. So giving somebody a discount for multiple taps is revenue suicide. I'm going to strongly recommend you not do that. Do just the opposite.
Thank you. But our goal is to add more service and more, so we'll take that chance.
What I believe is that we're looking at the business long-term, not the short-term. Short-term, we might lose some money to get more connections, but long-term, that tap's gonna be there for years and years and years to come. So you've got all that revenue for as many years as that tap is on the ground. So I would do it.
I would argue with you. Appreciate that.
We don't have to answer the public, we do what we want. But our view is to extend the service for ECUD. Right or wrong, we may not be able to carry this on, but we're gonna do it. And, we're gonna fight it to the best of our ability. If you wanna know the truth, something should have been done about 8 years ago when they were in a little bit better shape. And I think if these valves are going out, maybe we should have took part of that $45 million and replaced them 5 years ago. But we're in the position we're in, and because of poor management on the previous board and the ignorance of doing away with the M&O tax and cutting ECUD's throat, we're going to do something, right or wrong. Number one, we promise that. And number two, ECUD can afford to lose a little bit of money here and there. Not much, but according to Ms. Hayes, we're making a little money. I don't know how, but according to the CPAs and our audits, we're not having to knock on any doors and borrow any money yet. But I don't necessarily agree still with some of these prices. But like we said before, the labor's paid for. We're paying them guys regardless, every day they're in here, we're paying them. The only thing we're gonna take a hickey on is materials. So,
Now, is this, my deal here is this new services, and I'm talking subdivisions, businesses? Because my comment is with a new subdivision, new
subdivision,
they're still gonna charge whoever's buying the house that.
it doesn't go to somebody putting in new construction. I'm not gonna right or wrong, I'm not gonna give them that privilege. It's the people that's out there, they can't afford it, or they already have ECUD water and it's close by. And like Sylvia over here, she's got to pay $4,000 or $5,000 to get a road cut just so she can get water run across the street. Well, most people can't afford $4,000 plus another $2,700 just to get water. So I don't care what the rest of you think, ECUD is obligated to furnish water. They don't think so, but I do. And it should have been something, like I said, something should have been done about it years ago. I mean, I get riled up when it comes to this. I'm sorry, but y'all didn't do everything like I agreed with, right or wrong. And I don't know it all, but
I'm glad you're pretty.
I think we owe the public something, one way or the other. And if we don't try it, it ain't never gonna get done.
Amen.
So we gotta start somewhere. And if it don't work, then we'll come at it from a different angle. But that's my opinion on I think, and I don't know if Debbie understands this, but we started this crap 2 months ago, and we have not added not one done meter as far as I know, and I'm tired of waiting. I want us to get something done. And we always gotta decide on how much we're gonna charge. Let's wait till next month, but it's gonna stop now. We need to start adding meters. Yes, ma'am?
What's the current tap fee?
They say $2,700 is what they're charging. 2,700 and change.
$2,750.
And according to what Ms. Hayes gives us, cost is $2,400 something dollars. Is that right? That's a damn small margin of profit if that's cost. I don't believe that's cost. I don't believe it.
But that's based off of, Ms. Hayes, year cost analysis that she presented last month. That's what y'all are looking at?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So,
And last month, I believe I think it was last month, that we presented a letter to the board for them to approve, for us to be able to send out to any customers that we wanted to try to offer these to. So really what we're looking for, and maybe you can help us with this, is some defined guidelines on how much we're actually gonna discount it to. And is it a discount for every meter, or is it a discount if they purchase, let's say, 2, then they get the third one free? If it's multiple entities that are purchasing them, you know, what the structure is going to be.
exactly, that was gonna be my next
Yeah, so
question.
it's
So the fee is $2,750. I mean, what type of discount is the board looking to give? And it's Debbie's budget, is it?
Okay.
They have to buy, 2 or more, 3 or more, what does the discount can get?
In my opinion, what we ought to do, and what I said, we need to go after the ones that are inside the district that got water out there, already got a water hydrant or whatever. And there's gonna be those that's already got water wells and they don't want it, and they're old wells, but there's some that may or may not know that it's there or but we need to approach those. I've looked on the map, and then sometimes there's 20 of them running down the street there. They don't have any water, and it's right across the street, right there in front of their house. And we need to approach those people in the district that ECUD lines are already running there and see if they want water and offer them a discount. My opinion, half price, half of that $2,700 something dollars. It's one meter or one individual. Well, I'm gonna say it depends. We were approached the other day, and it's on the agenda today. A man that wants 2 meters, but he wanted to know if he could get a discount if they put in both meters. And I said, well, vote on it and see. But I don't have a problem with charging him half price for 1 meter, full price for the next meter. When our men are already out there and they're already got the equipment, and they're already digging the holes, let them go ahead and put in 2 meters, give him one of them for half price, the other full price. And if he don't run that one, that's between him and the office as to whether he pays the minimum or if he just wants to cap it or whatever. But if they cap it, he's got to pay for him to come back out there and put a meter in there.
No, it's good, but he's a unique situation. The whole discussion, it seems that somebody, wants the board wants to give some sort of discount. And so we need to get Debbie some sort of direction so she can, if it's half off, is it, for the next 6 months?
If they're right there in the same area, in my opinion, if they want 2 meters, give them one of them for half price and the other full price. If they want 3 meters, give them 2 of them full price, one of them half price, If they want 100 meters, so on. But I'm more concerned with people that really can't afford it. You're gonna have these people that can't afford it come in on their discount. Well, maybe, but that's one more we're added to the base of our people here.
Understood, so then that person, you're saying can't afford it, they just need one. Are you wanting or to offer them the half discount?
Like, I would say there's some developers that can afford many of them, right? And of course, I don't think it would be fair to give them a half price discount to developers that can afford as many taps or meters. So I would say, developers that buy over 5 or 6, just give them a 10% discount. And people that are not developers, the normal resident, give them that first one, first price, second one, first one full price, second one half price. Which need to,
Any additional after one, all of those half prices?
let's come up with,
I think we need to figure out exactly how we're gonna do this, because I think we can open up a can of worms here. Because, developers, building subdivisions, again, to them, it doesn't matter. They're gonna ask for half off because that's more money in their pocket, because they still pass that cost over to the buyer. So, I think this is something that we've got to really look at how we don't want to do it. Do we want to say, hey, guys, I know there's water lines here for this next month. If you sign up, it's not a permanent deal. It's a temporary for this month. If you sign up, we're willing to give you a discount on your connection. So, because I don't think.
That's the point, is that we have to have that.
Yes.
in order to get the action. That's why it keeps going month to month, because we're
That is
not putting a hard guidelines
and this can be something that we do every 6 months to give people opportunity. But the one thing that I need, I do need a better breakdown as to the cost. I need to know where we get our meters from. I need the actual price and everything broke down. That way we can actually see how it comes, how we're purchasing all this. Again, the labor cost, guys over here, they show up for work. Now, if we're contracting that out, okay, and if we're having to contract that out, then we've got bigger problems. I think maybe we need to table this. And no, we're going to come up, next agenda, we're going to have a pricing, an actual pricing. And an agreement as to how we're going to do it.
Maybe the suggestion is, of course, with the normal board meeting, you have to have the agenda. I know this is something that the board is passionate about. They want to see some action. They don't want to see this continue to get tabled and tabled. Y'all could make a committee of 2 directors. That way y'all can meet as many times as you want. There's no agenda that needs to happen. Get the information as far as the breakdown of the labor and material costs, for Debbie sit down, kind of iron it out, figure out, the strategy. Are we going to do it, every 6 months, we offer this, sign up within this 1 month, you'll get a discount. And that way the committee can meet, discuss all this, and then at next meeting, present and say, here's what we're presenting to the board, this is what our recommendation is. And then the board can take action on that committee's recommendation.
How many can you have on the committee?
Only 2. But the flexibility of the committee is that you can meet just with the 2 directors, you can meet with outside people, you don't have to have an agenda, you can meet at y'all's leisure. So if you need 5 meetings before the next meeting, y'all can meet at your convenience and time to discuss it. You can't, call and talk to the other directors, but you can kind of iron it out, have a good plan, and then present it to the full board for discussion. Say this is our recommendation on how to proceed. And if that's, we're gonna this 1 month sign up, you get the half to a 50% discount. And then 6 months later, maybe we do it again. But again, that's something, if it's committees of the committee can be figured out, put a good strategy in place, and then present that to the board for recommendation and approval.
Okay. But I'll say right now, I'm not in favor of giving a discount to a developer at all.
She had a question.
Yeah,
She was raising
I
her hand.
was just gonna say that, I'm a senior citizen and I can't afford it. Really, my son is the one that's going to help me out a little bit to try, if you all lower down that price. That. To put in the middle. Taking consideration that there are a lot of people that are senior citizens. We only have one check coming in. That's it.
That's something.
And the problem Sylvia's facing is the water lines across the street. So it's another, because I've already been talking to her, it's another.
It's just there, you know? Yeah.
And, like I said before, your big discount or, for being a senior citizen, that tax gonna be there for years to come, so we'll have that revenue on the long term. Not necessarily the short term, like, let's say, but at the long term. Like,
You'll just get a tap in and then you have.
Right. And Sylvia, I know this is your first time. Normally, we don't take questions from the audience, but.
I forgot about that.
No, that's okay, that's okay. And while we're at it, there's another one. So be fair, you get to always ask them. Hang on.
Well, I was just wondering about having a workshop and then have all your figures in front of you, your meters, your labor, your whatever, and have a workshop and sit down and discuss it, you know,
Between the board.
between the board.
Well, you may not get, the problem with that, in my opinion, you may not get it discussed and decided that day. Whereas as a committee, if you got two people, they can meet as many times as they want and change and do other things. But that's one idea. Okay. David?
So Nicole, in all of the, I believe you told me you guys oversee about 60 MUDs. And so my question is, has any of your other MUDs had this discussion and how did they handle the problem of trying to get additional people hooked up to the water? So do you already have a solution for it? And number two, my question is that, what would be the guidelines on how you would define whether a person is financially able to afford it or not, and what information would you put together and recommend to the board that they can obtain from that person to determine their qualifications financially? Because that's a real gray area, and you don't want to discriminate against, and so there has to be some credit guidelines in which you would have to abide by, in which the board, my opinion, would be have to adopt, and that would be their standing policy.
100% agree. To answer your first question, I personally haven't had to deal with, adding new tabs in, but it's something I can, bring up during tomorrow's attorney meeting to see if any of the other attorneys have dealt with this and see what, what their district did and what their solution was. And at that same time, I can ask them, like you said, what was their criteria for and process for, confirming someone's, eligibility to get the discount.
And then there was I do have a third one, Nicole. The third one is that we're discussing the actual tap of the water. And I do believe that the other issue is that the board is also concerned with the road cut of getting water from one side of the road to the other side of the road. And so there's a fee for that as well. And so I don't know that, I don't know if that's.
Talk about that, on that record,
If the district does not do road cuts, the district does not do road cuts.
But have y'all worked with anybody? road has?
So they're county roads, is what we've been told, they're county roads, and the county is the one who has a list of who the contractors are that can do road cuts on their roads. And then they have their own inspectors that go out and inspect the road cut. We inspect the pipe when it goes in the ground. And then the gentleman that spoke at the very beginning, Eddie Landrum, he and Jeff Avery's department works together to inspect that road cut. So we can fix one problem, but there's also another problem. And so that is the road cut.
And there's been no customer that have done the road cut previously before.
They're all currently done by the county.
How come ECUD don't do that?
The county won't allow us. The county roads.
Well, if you're a certified contractor, why not? Let them others do it. What's the difference?
And that's all the idiot said, that all you have to do is be certified, so what's it take for you?
That's any question. What makes his people certified?
And all those prices, we have a citizen in here that's got quotes from that list, and they range anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000 to cut a ditch across the road. So, you know, it's all over the place. Run that by me again?
So I'm asking that you haven't been a customer who the county has done the road cut that's happening.
Yeah. On Westman just the other day.
They'll do
They'll do the road cut.
And then we'll go in.
But it is a privately owned company that,
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you. There were two people talking.
Who paid for the road cut?
The customer does.
And they have bids from the contractors list, like this one lady, the public, same process.
I'm not involved in that process, so I'm going to assume they got bids from multiple people, but I do not know that.
Okay, so you just basically, once the customer reaches out and says the road cut's been done, you go in with the tap in.
Yes, or the contractor will. The contractor will contact and say that it's ready for inspection before they cover it up.
the county have to inspect it or you can't inspect it.
We inspect the pipe in the ground.
That's why we like it. But there's other requirements from the county. Who inspects that? The county's supposed to inspect that.
Correct.
Because doesn't take that responsibility.
For the work, that's correct. We don't take responsibility for the road.
Because there's so much sand, so much this, so much that,
Yes.
that they gotta do.
Yeah, we
Gotta
don't-
be so deep.
It's not our specs, not our inspection.
Not our road.
So,
It's not our road.
let me get this straight. So when they're doing the road cut, a private company does that, right?
Yeah.
So.
Can I clear things up a little bit, John? The private company comes in and puts in a conduit, and they do repair the road. ECUD comes in, that conduit, puts a polyethylene through it. Does that kind of help clear some stuff? That way ECUD is not really involved.
I understand that. They go out there and run the pipe, move. Maybe. I would work that.
Yeah, but I think the customer said that they have the issue with the road cut, that's a different category.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, county has a list, they'll give them, and it's the customer's responsibility to call the
Yeah, so
contractor.
until they pay for the road cut,
Okay,
can't help with tax that one. I think the committee or y'all decide not to do, they work workshop, it's another idea. Y'all need to kind of just think about right now, the people who, no issue with the road cut and what type of discount and qualifications for eligibility to
okay,
get that discount. That's
All right.
what I think the board needs to bring back, so we can actually take action and approve something.
okay,
So the district and Debbie have direction on how to move forward.
all right. Have you got time to stay on the meeting? Have you taken them, got it? You have any objections, me and Darrell doing it?
I was gonna say that in a prior meeting, when, Troy was designated to go over the letter and stuff. So I think Troy is really kind of already on this committee without, so there just needs to really be one person added, if you want him to remain on it.
But he's not available that time.
Yeah, I mean, he's working all day.
All I'm doing is, don't shoot.
Well, I mean, this is news to me.
So Troy had volunteered, you remember? And so.
Volunteered to what?
Be on the committee to help write the letter.
I don't even remember us talking about being on, having a committee.
So he did that, so, I mean, I'm good with whoever it is. I'm just trying to.
Do it.
There's a person, and so if you want to add a second, you don't have to use.
Okay, I got you, Danny.
Okay, I apologize.
So we need to vote on, the committee on this agenda item now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this agenda will be appropriate. If Troy is on the agenda, if he is on the committee and wants to remain on the committee, yes, the board should take action to appoint another director of the committee to, continue working with, Director Walker on this project. If Mr. Walker does not want to be on the committee, then the board's gonna have to pick someone else. But it can't be where, you can't keep like shuffling directors.
Yeah.
You can't keep like changing the committee, because
Yeah, I
then it's
understand.
everybody else are walking for. So I would say if Troy does not want to stay on the committee, then we could put two people on. But I don't know if there's any way to reach out to and ask. I would say for now, I would say just appoint one, since Troy has been, I guess, part of this project he said it regarding this letter that worked with Debbie on drafting.
What do you want? I'll do it.
I think that Troy's not here, we don't know if he wants to make a committee or not, so we, I suggest we make any.
Okay. Somebody, I can't do it, since I'm on here, so y'all do it.
Well,
You'll work, hey, you gonna have time?
I'll find time.
I'm flexible, so whenever he's got time.
All right. So,
So,
yeah,
make a new committee with Darrell and Jesus as a committee for this town project.
yes. And have an answer by next month and get this over with.
And so just, so you go, they'll bring a recommendation back. You can't take any action, but you'll bring that recommendation to the board, and then the board can vote on it next month.
Right. Right.
So if we just have a motion for minutes, to appoint,
I make a motion, I make a motion that, we appoint Darrell, Rondo, and Jesus Sanchez to be on the committee to come up with, a plan for discounting the valves and moving forward to increase our customer base. Anybody second that?
Second.
And all in favor? Dang. Two hours, 5 agenda items. Discuss, review, take action on changes to district rate order, including changes to monthly base rate. And we have a comment from John Governor.
Thanks, Tom. Again, I did a presentation at the water district, about a month or so ago. And the bottom line is somebody's going to go broke. With Ector County Utility District or some of their customers. And somebody like Sylvia, you're ready to go. Okay, I'm not gonna go broke, because these guys right here, they can afford to hit broke. It's our opinion. Yep. So, please focus on your revenue. You lost O&M. I I'm glad y'all are gonna bring this up in November 3rd, for the election. And, I think that's a good thing. But at the same time, please watch your revenues. They're really, really tight.
Thank you.
When the oil fields going down like they are, your water sales revenue is gonna go down. So please be careful with that. Please.
Well, thank you. Number one, we're charging so much now, people can't hardly afford to pay their monthly bill.
Somebody's gonna work on it. I got 3 minutes. If you want to discuss this, I'll discuss with you till hell freezes over.
Well, I'll save time, I don't want to discuss it.
Or,
Now I'm giving you your 3 minutes.
okay, give my 3 minutes. If you want to discuss this in the 3 minutes, it's up to you. It's up to Robert's rules. I mean, you can discuss it if you want to. You make those rules. Discussion of it is, my deal is that please watch your revenue. Mooring rates, this, that, and other stuff, just please. Water districts that's this size right here, these charge a minimum somewhere around anywhere from 120 down to about $58 a month. Then you pay for 8,000 gallons that you use, not a flat rate and you get 2,999 gallons. If you're looking at changing up some rates and stuff, please be aware that the more that water costs, the more people are going to conserve. I mean, I think Nicole can back me up on that one. So please watch it. Please.
Is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This agenda item is talking about on the, rental meters, wasn't it?
This was from the presentation that Debbie presented last month, water rate overview, current versus proposed.
Yeah.
And, she presented some information, for the auto and commercial, and I think y'all asked her to, try to bump up that. I think there was a certain revenue y'all were trying to achieve. And y'all tabled it and said you wanted to revisit it for this month. That's why it's on the agenda.
Okay. Is that in our package here, Debbie?
So the question that was left open from the last month was that you wanted to try to reach 150,000 annual threshold between the commercial rates is what you asked me to get. So the proposed rate.
But it was basically aimed at not just solely commercial, but at the, well, they go up on both of them, I'm assuming, and on the water meter rentals. What we charge on that. You said they were lumped into the commercial. Right. Correct?
So the handout that you received last month on the commercial rate, you were given a handout where there was a $100, their current rate is $75, and we bumped it up to $100. So it wasn't, you didn't receive enough of the revenue that you were looking for. So you asked me to take it a little higher. So we bumped it up to 105 for the commercial. At 105, you can reach your threshold that you wanted to reach, and that would be $159,480 on commercial rates. So you would go from $75 to 105
Right.
base.
That was the other category changing today.
That is that category. And they also had asked on the portable meter. So the portable meter,
Excuse me, where's that in there?
this was a handout from last month.
So we don't have that in there.
So I mean, we went over this last month, so I'm just going over my notes, and all I did was run some new numbers. So, and based on my notes, is that the current portable rate is $100. If we raise it to 155, and that brings your revenue annual from $8,400 to $9,240. The combined increase would be $168,720.
How did that number get done? I'm sorry.
168,720. You're welcome. And so that would be an annual increase of $27,420 for those two increases, which gives you to those thresholds that you want. By making it base increase to your commercial and to your portable meters. That's what you asked me to do.
It was really and truly, I think the portables ought to be strictly separated from the commercial and the residential,
They are.
but they're still charged commercial base rate.
The portable meters are currently charged $100 base rate.
Up to 2,000 gallons.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, that's,
And then it's,
so I mean, you can change it however you want to change. You can change the base rate or you can change that. You asked me what we could do on the base rate. So that's what I concentrated on was the base rate. If you want to change that, the usage rate, then that's a different discussion.
That's $8.83.
Yeah. That's a different discussion because I did not calculate any usage rate, only the base rate.
So we're not talking about, then we're not talking about any changes in residential or commercial other than
The base rate.
the base rate of the portable meter.
The base rate for commercial accounts, which would be like Stratus, would be DK. So all the commercial accounts, their base rate would go up some. Portable meters is a separate billing calculation. And so I've given you both. I've given you both commercial and I've given you the portable.
Maybe that we're going to bring that in. We're going to actually get notice as to rates, what rates are going to be, so it's going to have to be a whole package.
And would you be able to give them that chart that was, page 2, actually, which is the chart showing the residential, senior, multi-family, commercial industry, that may be helpful stuff.
Yeah, it's not so much commercial, and that's what I'm.
Yeah.
It's just that, it's the base rate
Or the
for the portable meters and the usage, per gallon average.
Right.
I think they ought to have a line item just at home for.
They do. They do.
They're rolling it over to the commercial, base rate, yeah. They're both the same price, commercial is not
The presentation that was given to you last month, we're going to make copies for you. So that way you have, so there won't be confusion. One thing you might think about doing, and this might be something that Nicole would agree with or not, I don't know, is that this too could go to that same committee of 2.
Yes.
And be looked at, and a recommendation could be brought back to the board. So that at least there's 2 board members that in this committee that understand it fully of all the different scenarios that you could or could not do.
I agree. Last month, the presentation, y'all had it in front of you in the chart, and I think, we're focusing on increasing the monthly base rate for just the commercial, the multi-family, senior, and residential, and then you guys have really nothing for industrial. So we were just looking at the commercial, and the portable water meters. My recollection as well from the meeting, there was really no discussion on the usage. And, my notes as well said, y'all wanted to see that last page of the report that showed total revenue between those two increases. It currently showed 141,300. The board, as Debbie said, wanted to see it closer to 150. Y'all requested her to kind of rerun some numbers. And based on, I guess, her analysis, she bumped up the commercial monthly base rate by another $5 to make it 105, and then the portable, she bumped it up $5 as well, 155. That got you over the 150 threshold, closer to 169, 170. Yeah, the board wanting to, look at changing the usage fees for that commercial. That could be something that you bring to the committee and look at and run some numbers and calculations, and then present that to the board to take action on changes to the usage rates. But it's my understanding that y'all wanted to wait, and then I thought this meeting y'all were going to take action on changes to the commercial and portable meter rates.
Me too, but I was under the impression it's just strictly on the rental meters. So that was my fault. So can y'all take that? Okay. So I think we'll put that to the committee too,
Yeah, because,
and bring back something firm next month.
so, just so there's the clarity, the portable meter in the base rate only generates $8,400. There is no way you can get a threshold of 150,000.
And that's, and I think,
So I don't, because I want to clear that up, because you're not going to be able to do that unless you totally escalate the usage rate way up there to get 150,000 threshold. Yeah, there's 14 to 16 that we have out. And that varies.
To get to that threshold, it was always increasing both commercial and portable.
Yeah, but that's a crapshoot.
Well, on previous meetings, I'm sorry, on previous meetings, I have brought the proposal of giving people that can afford a portable meter the facility to get one, get more revenue, and it was denied. Now, we're trying to play with a base rate and usage rate to get that revenue, when we could.
it was denied because,
We could get more meters out there and get that revenue.
we didn't have a, so we do this, in a committee, we'll figure it out. Figure out the rate that it's gonna be, I really don't have a problem if, to me, it doesn't have to be commercial. If somebody out on 866 wants to pay for a meter to haul their water, I'm good for it, but we do have to change the price. I mean, I do believe.
You have a problem with this? Okay.
All right, well, we'll put that on the committee and let them decide something on that. I make a motion. Okay, so no action.
But Debbie will keep it on for next month as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we need to vote on it, table it, or anything?
Can we put, as far as, just a quick question, Nicole, can we have guidelines as to far best how the people that get these meters, I guess what I'm looking for is their way of transporting. I mean, I don't want to give a meter out to somebody that's got a one axle trailer. I think there's got to be guidelines as far as how you're going to get it, what's going to be transported on. Because we also got to be safe, or make sure people are safe. So maybe it's something that we gotta have guidelines as to what are you transporting this water at?
Well, if you vote on letting, but I'm not sure.
So that's, I guess that's something we need to look at, we'll, and the committee will look at and figure it out, because again, we're opening up a can of worms if we just let anybody
Yeah,
have a meter.
if we do that, and we got another 15 people say on affordable meters, you know, we got about 15 affordable meters. And I think we need to be careful who gets them.
I think that we need to be careful as to who gets them.
But that's for the committee to decide.
Appreciate it.
Water station.
You know, when I talk to, the other attorneys about some of their other clients related to, you know, adding tax and any discounts, once I get all that information, I'm gonna send it to y'all, so y'all can start, you know, adding that to your discussions and, analysis of these two projects, okay?
Will you copy me on that, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Then item 7, discuss
And then, just a reminder, y'all don't send it to Mr. Kelly, because then it's gonna be 3. You'll present that to the board, you'll present all that to the board at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so just explain, that's why John will be on the email.
Then item 7, discuss Ector County Utility District calling election on November 3rd, 2025 to confirm the creation of the maintenance and operation tax. And just get, we got public opinion on that, Tommy Irwin.
Hey, John, I didn't know that, your comment a while ago, you said y'all was making money. So if you're making money now, is this overhead tax going to be to subsidize people that can't afford water meters? If that's what it is, I'm going to use that tax. If you're using that tax right there to put in water lines, and give people access to water, I'll support you guys 100%. But otherwise, I can't. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, number 1, it should have never been done away with. That's why some of these other districts have a little more leeway than we do too. I bet you every one of them are collecting tax.
Not Martindale.
I ain't talking about around here. Okay, we have a motion to put this on the election.
Almost.
It's way too early for it to kick off for election.
Okay.
So,
Strictly for discussion.
yes, I talked via email a little too early. So, you know, once we get your certified values from your tax office and they do their tax rate calculation worksheet, we'll have better ideas and numbers. You will call for the election. I believe the deadline is usually end of August. We'll have numbers, you know, July. We should have it as well for your August 13th meeting. The deadline to call for the election is likely August 25th, but I'll confirm that on the Secretary of State's website for the November election.
Yeah.
But too early at this point to call. We don't have any certified values or numbers yet.
But we need to be careful and make sure, because we're going to have a town hall meeting and discuss this with the public before we do put it on. So we need to do that probably in August or September.
So as part of setting your tax rate, depending on the number, and yes, y'all, because you're currently 0, I would imagine that the number is going to trigger calling for a public hearing. And yes, you would, when we get the numbers, you'll propose a tax rate, and then you'll schedule a public hearing, and then you'll hold a public hearing and then adopt.
Yeah.
Typically goes through the state, you have a public hearing first, and then you'll officially adopt your budget, adopt the tax rate, depending on that rate, and at the same time, you'll call for the November election. So the tax office will calculate 2 numbers. They'll calculate a voter approval rate and an election rate. If the board proposes a rate that's over the election tax rate, then it will trigger the November election.
Okay.
All too much speculation, because I don't know the certified values yet.
Yeah.
And we don't know for any of our districts.
I'm not so much concerned with what the tax rate's going to be, it's just what the feedback on people's opinion of whether they'll be willing to pay it or not.
Understood, but again, it's too little too early right now.
All right.
Well, it will be something we'll start discussing, July.
And then, agenda item number 8, and I'm assuming we'll make this 2 different items on the voters, but I want to try to take in outside of the district, the rest of the county, in with this. And it's not as much as I thought it was, but I got, Eddie put some numbers together for me. And, the M&O tax for the district, what was the last tax we received, Debbie, do you remember? Ballpark.
How much money? It was a little over $1 million.
See, and the numbers that Eddie give me now is down to 848,000. And that could vary. There's 9,757 parcels. And the taxable value on it was 848,445,977. Divide that by 100 and then multiply it times the old tax base, your revenue would be $842,422. That's in the district. But in the proposed expanded district, there's only 7,493 districts with a taxable value of $698,396,328. By that by 100 multiplied times the last tax rate, it comes up to 693,437,000. So if by chance, which it'll be an uphill battle, the combined two, our extra revenue would be $1,535,859. And if we can, we'll have to look at it, but some of that we need to hold over for, I think, maintenance and operation. But if we can assure the public, the rest of it will go strictly for, new water lines and stuff. It may or may not work, but it depends on how many more people you get out and the appraisals on what it is. I could see the property outside the district over the next 5 years increasing considerably. So your revenue would increase. And as long as all that revenue was guaranteed to be used for infrastructure on new water lines to new homes and stuff, it may go. But anyhow, I'm all in favor of rolling them all into the tax bases myself.
So I can get maybe a copy of your current district map, and then we could, I can see, what areas y'all are trying to incorporate and annex into it. We can start that process as far as, getting a petition out to those homeowners and residents.
And that outside district, that goes 5,000 foot outside of the interstate, 866, 302, and it can't go outside the loop. But because there's going to be people that are going to go the other side of the highway, we need to make sure they're going to be taxed also, buildings and stuff. As he said, according to Eddie, there's some people that's, going back a couple thousand foot off the roads and stuff. You want to be able
Yeah,
to.
I just need to see your current boundary and then what area you're wanting to include.
We don't have a good one on the website, do we?
So, yes and no. So, there is a map on the website.
Let me talk to Eddie and see if he can print me a good readable one, and I may just mail it to you instead of trying to send it.
Okay, or anything.
Okay, all right.
Can I say something? People are saying they can hear on the laptop, they can hear you on YouTube.
All right.
Okay, I spoke up.
Okay, we can't do anything about it right now. we do have equipment on order, and when it gets in here, I think things will improve. Uh, Agenda item number 9. Discuss the district's current bylaw policy, property owners' responsibility for tenants' delinquent bills. Tommy?
John again, the district bylaw, my understanding is a bylaw for done away with, it's about a year ago. But, as far as, responsibility of tenants, I believe that, that was set up pretty, I'm gonna say stern about it. People didn't pay their bills. Shortly after that, like 60 days later, the water being cut off. That I'm assuming that is not adequate. Is that one of y'all wanting to discuss this? And for as rental people, landlords have been held responsible. Renters don't pay the bills. So I think that was pretty adequate about it. But other than that, I'm assuming y'all might be adopting some new bylaws specifically for ECUD. And I think that's probably a pretty good idea.
I was thinking last time I looked on the website, it showed that was.
But I keep hearing that they were done.
That were
So, do we have bylaws or do we not have bylaws? If they were moved by the board,
We had, from what I understood, we had some, I forget, by the state or something, and then they had their own voting. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you what I think what this is mainly aimed at is what we discussed the other day, and I don't like the point that these landlords, RV owners, park owners, trailer park owners allow their individual people to have their own meter. Because when they move off, there's usually a big water bill, and the way it's set up now, the landlord is responsible for that bill, and they don't know whether, I mean, it's a double-edged sword in my opinion. And I personally think that there ought to be one meter, and the landlord pays for that meter and charges back his clients. That's hard to change now because we got places all over the west side of town. It's got RVs or trailer parks. It's got their own meters. And we got one right now that the ringer, well, they always turn the meters off during the winter time. And if I'm saying this right, anyhow, one of the renters went out there, turned the water back on. And anyhow, I think the landlord's gonna hopefully evict her, but you know, the way it's written up now, the responsibility falls back on the landlord, and this particular landlord's gonna sell and go for it. And I had one guy call me, and I worked out a deal with Debbie and John, and he hadn't followed through with it. And I don't know what happened to that, but this is going to be a recurring problem, and I think, you know, you can be hard-nosed about it, but I think sometimes there needs to be a little compassion and working with the landlord. I do think that we need to send a notice. I don't think half of them know what their responsibility is. Maybe or maybe not, I don't know. But they need to be re-informed of it. That the way everything is set up now, if they have a renter move off owing water bill, that they're gonna be billed for it. And, you know, we go back to the same old thing. Grid TV don't have that option. They don't go back on the homeowner. But in our instance, I really don't know the right way to go about it, but I do think there are some areas where we could have a little, grace for the landlord. It's not through anything they've done. They just got a crappy, renter. And work with them on what they're gonna have to pay or something. I don't know how the other two board members feel about it. I know some of it.
The majority of the debt that was written off when we had to do the write-off was predominantly, it was the RV parks, people living in and out, was predominantly rental property. And so the district wrote off well over $1 million in debt that they could not collect. And even though we did turn it over to a third-party collection agency, they did collect some of it, but it was not near what the district had to write off. And so, but again, we will do whatever the board directs us to do. That policy was set in place in 23. We all know that people move in and out of West Odessa almost as much as the wind blows or the weather changes. So most of the landlords are pretty well educated and schooled on what their responsibility is. And every now and then you get one that hasn't and doesn't understand because it's their first experience of having a tenant live in their property and then turn around and move off. So for the most part, most everybody is educated. But if the board wishes to come up with a new policy that is lenient and wants to give us guidelines on what amount you want us to give leniency to, and then we can create a line item on our financials that's a write-off. Where we write off income.
And one of the main things I think ECUD needs to do is don't let the bill get far out. I don't know if it's got to do with the bill or what, but I mean, you run up too much worth of bills and depending on how much water they use, it can get pretty high. I mean.
You have to remember in arrears, so
Yeah.
you might have 30 days and then there's laws that you have to provide. So it doesn't take long and you've got 60 days worth of usage before you can legally do anything and then you have a high bill.
When does it flag or when do we know if it's 30 days time?
When ADR tells us, when we do the billing cycle, it tells us 30 days down. And like today, they were making calls.
What can we do to change that?
They're not due for 30 days.
I think there is, but I think.
They're not due until they're 30 days due.
I think this is something where he says change that almost where, I mean, when they come ask for service, that tenant comes and asks for service, there's a connection fee. Or the deposit. Okay. Maybe it's gotta be.
And we ask for a lease agreement. So we know, we ask for a lease agreement, we get a deposit.
So I think the deposit,
and we apply the deposit to their delinquent bill.
we may need to raise the deposit, but at the same time, you let the landowner know, hey, we're gonna do our part is after 30 days, we're shutting it off. And unfortunately, there has to be a way that the landowner finds out that, hey, they're delinquent. And I see where John's headache's coming from, everybody having meters. It's great, everybody has meters, but I mean, the RV park that's got 1,000 meters, I want one because that's revenue. But to keep track of that, so ECUD's got to do their part as far as what they're doing, make sure to shut it off. I think we need to look at how when you're in an RV park, there has to be something different there because yes, they can get up and leave any time and the landowner at the same time needs to know, hey, you're going to be responsible if they up and leave.
That's between the tenant and the landlord.
Yeah, that's between them, but when he comes talking to, because I'm pretty sure that landlord has a connection with us to get those other connections, so we can say, hey, we're doing this, but anybody that doesn't pay, you're gonna be responsible for it. So it's kind of fall back
We
on,
have, and that's on our
Yeah.
website.
and unfortunately, I think us doing everything, that, and, I mean,
And sometimes they rent them because it's in the landlord's name, the property. So we can't tell from the appraisal district because it's changed names so often too. And unfortunately, West Odessa is very unique. It's not like the Metroplex or a big city where everything is very, very cookie cutter. I mean, you can go to bed tonight and wake up tomorrow and there's an RV park, 3 of them that popped up that you have no idea that they popped up. So,
Some ideas we can do about it. One is like something, there's gonna be an agreement between the landlord and the renter. Like a certain deposit that the renter can give to the landlord if they leave with a water bill, that renter will lose that deposit against the landlord. That's something we can't do anything about. That's between them. Other things that we ask for 2 deposits, one from the landlord and one from the renter to ECUD. There's, if they both lose their deposit. And that way, the landlord has to be more responsible of the renter. Make sure he pays his water bill, or he's gonna lose his deposit also. One other thing, if we don't ask for a double deposit, we can make the landlord sign an agreement with ECUD. If your renter leaves with a water bill, he has a signed agreement that he's gonna pay for that debt.
and well, that last one, probably the only one that's actually gonna work is the landowner has to know that.
But with the signed agreement.
He is, yeah, you have an RV park. Your tenants are your responsibilities. Yes, they ask for a meter, but they bail out. The cost will go back to you. And that way, I mean, they know it and they're aware of it. The one thing that, again, that we've got to do is make sure every 30 days we shut the water off and say, hey, unfortunately, it's too much effort on our side to call and get the landowner and say, hey, your tenant didn't pay. It's not our responsibility. Unfortunately. I mean, if you got the time to do it, that's one thing, especially if you got multiple tenants on that one property, because it might benefit us making the call. But I said, you shutting off the water, most of those times, those tenants are gonna go talk to the landlord and say, hey, you shut the water off. Well, the landlord's got to make sure that he is aware that why. So it's one of those deals that, what's the right answer to it?
it's one of those things that you're not gonna make everybody happy, and there's not even 100% way to please all of it. There's always gonna be one that gets through the cracks, but for the most part, I can actually tell you the complaint from a landlord is significantly less today than it was in 2020. And have we educated the population of landlords that we have in West Odessa? I would say yes. And so is there gonna be a particular customer that has some property that is probably gonna throw a shoe when they learn that they owe us several $1,000s because of their tenant that even is behind in their rent for that landlord and knows they're behind with us? Probably so. So when that particular shoe gets thrown from that foot, I'll bring that issue to the board and y'all can tell me what you want to do.
Negotiate.
Yep, that's up to y'all. And you might decide that those issues.
Y'all wanna put that on your committee too?
We can start with, we can start with, making, landlords, we can start with making the landlords, sign an agreement.
Well, they already signed one of them.
Well, No, the landlord, they bring us their lease agreement, so we have
Between
them
them,
pay
right?
them. But there's not a per se agreement they sign with us. And so we can do that with moving forward. But trying to find everyone here to get them to execute one today would be like me finding a needle in a haystack and getting them to come in, because a lot of your landlords don't even live here.
And Governor,
Don't even live here. So,
can we do that if, going forward, make the landlord sign an agreement that if their tenant moves out owing money, that they have to pay the bill?
You know, should be able to, I can work on it, or have government subs are approved, maybe modify it. I mean, whether or not they actually have that's another question.
Well, it's true.
I'm pretty sure you won't be.
Well, we'll cut their water off if they don't.
Right, they'll come around with it, when they're in the water.
So when you do connections like this, is it a commercial meter that goes out into the RV park and then they've got their own meter? Is there one meter to start off with?
Not necessarily.
now we've got some that they put in their own little, Home Depot meters that they bought.
For each individual. They get one meter from y'all and then the rest of them.
In that case, then, those are the ones that we're not, this is not our meter, that's not our responsibility. What's our responsibility is.
It's the one meter, but, right, I'm just answering your question, is that an issue for this scenario? No.
No.
Okay.
But I don't think we're gonna get this figured out tonight. Let's table this.
We're gonna make an agreement, right?
Well, Nicole's gonna make up some sort of agreement. I think we ought to at least do that. Going forward, any new landlords,
I mean, so how many RV parks do we have that have their own meters? That could be.
it's hard to say because they pop up
I
everywhere.
mean, I can get you that number. I don't have that on me right now. I guess I'm concerned why you're so concerned with RV parks. RV parks aren't your problem. Your problem are landlords who own the property, who charge Midland rates to live out in West Odessa. And they know they can do that because for years they've done it. And ECUD has absorbed that cost. They're charging them $1,500 to live somewhere plus a $1,500 deposit. And you guys, we're asking them to be accountable for the water that's used. Remember, on the 15th of every month, everybody that owes ECUD more than $15 gets a letter from myself. If they have an email, they get an email as well. If they haven't made restitution by the 1st, then they get a call. We finish that call. So we're not letting them go months and months and months. We're holding them accountable. We're asking them to be accountable. We're asking for a partnership with landlords. We want landlords to get with us and say, hey, so-and-so just skipped out. So that I can send somebody over there and shut that meter down for them.
It's not bad because I'm thinking tenants, I'm thinking about RV tenants.
A lot of times we have one master meter and I can control that.
Yes.
I'm just asking for the landlords to be accountable to you because they're driving you guys out of business, taking advantage of you.
How many landlords know they're accountable?
Since 2030, John, all of them. Anybody that's opened up a new service, they now know that they're accountable.
That's why I
Thanks
said-
to the decision that was made, you guys saved ECUD for doing
But,
that.
but apparently they don't, if they come in here and want us to do something about their
You've got,
electric bill.
you do have one that was upset that there was a leak and he's upset and I still get those. It's not my fault. I'm asking for them just to be accountable, to let me know, hey, so-and-so left, and then I'll go shut that sucker down right now. But remember too, I'm charging you for usage for a month ago. So if I shut you off today, you owe me for a month ago, you owe me for the last read up until today when I shut you off. There's that as well. And sometimes the deposit doesn't cover it all. If you want the landlord to, that's great. Let's put the landlord under the landlord's name. You just gotta be careful. If you make them sign something and the tenant knows, hey, my landlord's on the hook for this bill, then they're gonna run out. We try to do it as discreet as possible.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you, it is not broke today. in my opinion, it's not broke. You're gonna have a squeaky wheel every now and then, but overall, is it broke?
But I understand that this crap happens. But sometimes we have to be negotiable and be able to help them out. Some of them are just, excuse the expression, asses about it, and they don't care what we think.
Right.
But there are those that can't help it, can't afford it. And, you know, my best bet to tell them, the ones I've had is, you need to charge them for the water and pay ECUD, and that way you don't have to worry about them running out. And I don't care what they charge them, that's up to them. And
That's for us. If you sit back and say, hey, every landlord has to have it under their name.
And I understand that some, I think we have to kind
Not under their name.
of, work with the tenant, the landlord, you know, if they want to pay it out, work something out with them and pay them out, you know. I understand where Debbie's coming from on that one. She told me the other day that like $4,000 bill, she lived in a $250,000 house, she just didn't want to spend the money, you know, but, you know, we have to work with them too. It don't matter what we think about it,
That's fine.
it's
You guys
a
lay
hard
down the
pill
law.
to swallow, but,
Sure.
you know.
At the end of the day, all I'm trying to do is add value. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to bring in revenue.
I
You've
understand.
got 10% of your people that are causing the problem. It's 10% the delinquency rate. I send out 10% letters essentially every month. And I cut off about 10% of those that we called. We called 135, so I expect on Monday when we do shut-offs, I'll shut off about 35 people.
We're making money because we're sending them delinquent letters and we're getting a pretty good chunk of money for that, but that's just a bad joke. I disregard what I said.
So, yeah, I think landlord is responsible.
Let's, we
And
need,
even the PUC says that. I mean, I went all the way to the Public Utility Commission over a case in 23, and the district won the case and uphold the rules and regulations that we enforced today.
If we make every landlord have their meter under their name, they're like 100% responsible. I mean, they'll be 100% responsible that their renters
And if
pay.
that's a policy that you passed today, that from this day forward, every single piece, every time, if a tenant comes in tomorrow to because they just moved into a rental property, we're gonna look at them and say, I'm sorry, we can't turn on your water until the landlord comes here and signs the agreement.
can you notify the landlord if we decide to do that?
Moving forward, I can tell you, I don't have a means to do that.
We don't know who all the landlords are.
Well, is that renter, but that renter knows who that landlord
Yeah, because they're gonna bring me a lease agreement.
is. Right. And
So I mean, we can start, if Nicole drafts an agreement between the landlord and us, a new document that the landlord has to sign, that they're responsible for it, for their tenants, and we can start that. But I'm just telling you.
we can't find them, but the renters won't find the landlord. Correct.
Yeah, we're not gonna turn any water on, we're not gonna do nothing until the landlord signs the agreement.
And we would need verification that it is the landlord signing it. If we're gonna go this far, then
Oh, yeah.
I either need them to present themselves and show me
Driver's
an ID
license,
or.
or they have to come up or something.
Proof they own the land.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a whole procedure that we need to be in place.
Well, that's.
Debbie, real quick, this team meeting thing is gone so long, so I've set up another one, so if this shuts me off, I'll go to the next one.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna have to leave shortly anyway, I have a meeting.
I think we need to, table this for right now. And
It doesn't sound, I don't do a job of what those people, was that John or was that someone else?
That was John.
but that's John.
Okay,
The other John.
Like, this point, it's a huge issue at this point, it's time for this.
Yeah. And as y'all get a chance to discuss it, because I'm all in favor of that, just making the landlord be responsible for it. But it's gonna take time and we're gonna have to gonna be a lot of work on the
Yeah,
office and
and
stuff.
the procedures that, the process.
Yeah, so, I make a motion, we table this until next month and discuss it some more, and that's, yeah, I've got some ideas.
So do you want Nicole to go ahead and drop an agreement?
Well, I think we
Or
need to
you
come
want
up,
us,
I
we need
think,
to figure out.
yeah, we need to figure out what we're gonna, how we're gonna handle it, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, you hold up right
Nobody's
now.
gonna do anything.
No, they're gonna talk about it in their committee when they have time between your mother's names. Do I have a second? I thought you motioned. Oh, no, I didn't motion. Okay. And it's gonna be tabled, all what they have, so. we're gonna table it. Okay. Discuss review process for approving district invoices and internal financial procedures related to the same, including review of bookkeeping services provided by Haney and Company, and take any necessary action. We have from the floor, Tommy Irwin.
For the last time today that you'll hear from me. Appreciate that. I think in late 21, we could hire a lady to come out here. She was going to Odessa College, and she got a associate's degree to bookkeeping, this, that, and other stuff. Since then, I believe that she's worked hard enough that she's been trained to do their bookkeeping. Take care of in-house, save you guys a whole lot of money, a whole lot of money. At the same time, Joe Torres has got nothing to do with Haney Company. I work with him on China Aid, some of the water issues, different parts of the county that he's involved in. Some other stuff. So he's not involved in Haney Company. But I think that we do have an employee out here that can handle this quite easily. And I appreciate you guys looking at that. Big deal. Big step. Thank you.
Okay, I think on this, I want to change up the way we're doing this. Maybe we're getting a report from Debbie every month, at the meetings, but I think there's 2 or 3 things involved here. Number one, just so we can be a little more involved on what's going on. I'd like to know whatever check is written for and see it when it's time to be signed for it. And there's some questions on some of the stuff you sent us in the mail. Maybe I don't know, now's time to discuss it. We need to give a general report, but, looking at this check register that you mailed out, my personal, deal is on it. Why are the checks not in order on the numbers? The labor, what's this agenda for them? Are we changing?
Is this how we're wanting everything going through the bookkeeper? Nicole, is this what we're talking about? From Haney and Company? So
Yeah,
reconciling.
I wanted to kind of get a better idea on the process for the invoices and, how the internal financial procedures. So Debbie had said we gave that letter for any company who, I don't know how, but they're your bookkeeper and they're your auditor, which we now obviously changed the auditor situation, but as we discussed last meeting, when the audit's done, it has to be a different company. This is an independent review of the bookkeeper's financial statements. So, any company currently is your bookkeeper. So I have not seen, the meeting I attended last month in person or this month, any monthly reports from any company, any bookkeeper's reports. typically we would see a bookkeeper's report for all of our districts, which would show, you know, the beginning and ending balance of all of your bank accounts, any of your investment accounts. You would see that. You would see, you know, deposits being made to any of those accounts, all the checks written out of all those accounts. And then behind that financial report would be a copy of all of your invoices that the board would be reviewing and approving during the meeting. But I didn't see that process, and then, you know, then after approval, the two directors would start signing all the checks. But I didn't see that process, so I wanted to get a better idea from the board and Debbie as to what that process is, what exactly does Canadian company do, and what type of reports do the board get for Canadian company. I haven't seen one, and then, I mean, yes, the information that's in the packets, it looks as if this is something that, you know, y'all do in-house. I don't know if this is what any company does, but my review looks like it's something that's done in-house. And then, yes, I have the same question, Mr. Kelly, you know, when I look at, you know, the February transaction report, you know, the checks aren't in sequential order. I mean, there were 3 checks that I saw missing. So I don't know if those were voided checks, but typically I would see that on a bookkeeper's report, so we know those 3 checks, they were a mess up or they were voided, et cetera. So I just kind of wanted to get a better understanding from the board and Debbie as to the process. On the accounts and why all those, you know, beginning and ending balances for all of your bank accounts and investment accounts.
Well, I think we can probably do that. Can we, Debbie? So I'm kind of curious, I mean, even though I'm on the board, and I guess I come up here with the books anytime, that's a lot of trouble, but if we see the invoices come through a board meeting, or even if we have to do another board meeting or whatever to do that and sign the checks, I personally think we need more than 2 people to sign checks too. I've always thought that because,
Yeah, most of our districts, all 5 board members are signers on the accounts. Yeah, typically there's a stack of invoices and checks at every board meeting.
Okay.
So if there was ever a question on the invoice, the board would pull that invoice and check, they'd approve the rest of them, and, you know, request, you know, either I or the general manager or there was a question to the operator manager. He'd say, you know, I need more clarification on this invoice before we approve it.
Yeah.
But I think these checks are already sent out before the board can even discuss them or review them, have any answer, or ask any questions, get any answers on.
Do we write the checks spread out over a month or a day?
The current practice now is that, and I'm going to kind of just go through the process. So we receive the invoices in the mail, depending on who that invoice, who ordered that material or ordered office supplies, uniforms, whoever it pertains to. Then that individual is the one who signs up on the invoice. Then Johanna cuts checks every single Wednesday. So whatever invoices she gets for that week, from Wednesday to Wednesday, then she cuts checks on Wednesday. Then we process them, sign them, put them in the mail, and then she makes copies and we have backups of everything here. When she cuts the checks, we use QuickBooks. So everything with QuickBooks, as she cuts the check, at the bottom, she puts in the account to where it goes and it's dispersed to, so it's counted on the sheets and through all the financial information. And then at the end of the month, Canadian company has viewing privileges of QuickBooks. So they go through there and look at it, make any changes that need to be done because there's not a CPA that works for the district. Then they recommend whatever changes need to be. If there's has to be depreciation done or statements, they do everything like that for us. And then they will print them, bind them, and then we have them. Now we can moving forward, if the board, if this is what you wish to do, We can make copies of every bank statement and put them as part of your board package. We'll mark out the account number so that, because I don't know where they would go once they leave here. So we can take give you copies of every bank statement. We'll only cut checks once a month, and then you can sign them and approve them, and then the next day we'll go ahead and mail them. Just,
'Cause I wanna see, the report from Haney and Company, other than the spreadsheet you sent us. Like, yes, I want financial, I wanna be able to see everything. I wanna see the checks, that have been, pretty much just balance everything. Okay, this check was cut, okay, it's cleared up. I wanna be able to keep track of everything, see everything, but I want that from Haney and Company, because we're paying them to do that, we're not seeing anything from them. So I need to see something from them. And also the board, I'm really firm on the board, actually. Before a lot of this stuff, I think, one of the problems was the company that was supposed to find the meters on 42nd, we went ahead and cut them a check, paid them, and nothing, they still haven't found those meters. So, stuff like this, we would probably.
we did have to pay for that. No, sir. That 42nd road was paid by the county. We stopped the payment because they hadn't done it. I called the county and had the county not pay them. The district has not been out any money.
Okay. But stuff like this is what, we want to make sure that we're aware of. And
Sure.
approving. So I would like to see it coming from the bookkeeper and just checks and balances.
Well, at the next board meeting, from this day forward, we won't mail out any checks. From this day, from today until when we
Well,
get in.
Is there any problem with any of the vendors?
Oh, I'm sure there's gonna be,
Well,
because a lot of our vendors it's net due upon receipt. Our utility bills will probably have late fees in them. But so, I mean, but I mean, we'll do whatever.
And that's, that's the reason why we want all board members to be able to sign it, because if there's something, we're not gonna acquire late fees, we're not gonna do that, nothing like that. Eventually, we can get to the point where we know what's coming in, so, hey, maybe not this month, it's gonna take a little bit for us to say, hey, this is what's coming, we know these bills are coming. If it's something that y'all had to order parts and all you gotta do is call one of us to come up and sign the check.
So, what Nicole is saying is that her districts, they sign all the checks once a month. So that's what she's recommending you do.
Yes, no, that is, but right now,
That
until,
would limit her late fee.
yes, not to,
Typically, the invoices, like the utility bill, we're paying, last month's bill that's come due prior before the meeting, and then that's presented. But if all the checks are sent prior to any late fees or due dates on the invoices.
So then
So your board
meets.
So your meeting is early enough, we have some districts that are very late in the month, so they're basically paying, in arrears. But the board still review all those invoices. So I mean, what vendors are, your consultants are likely net 30. What big vendors are upon receipt of any utility bills? My own personal utility bills, I don't have to pay them the next day, and it's late.
So I'll let Johannes, because go ahead, Johannes.
All these different vendors, one of them will be McCoy's where they get all their materials. It's 9/10, so we have to get them paid. Other than that, the guys won't be able to get their products. Anyone.
and something like that is fine, that's why we're wanting every board member to be able to sign it. Because if Jesus can't make it, maybe I can't, maybe John can't, maybe Troy can't.
But it has to be sometime other than on the board.
Yes, it would have to, but, and if it's an expensive, purchase, maybe it's where two of us can make it out there, or make it in to sign it, but.
So it's required for two directors to sign all checks. How often are these types of invoices coming is for like this materials? I mean, are you getting the ones a week?
Yeah, we could get
pretty much get invoices
every day. We could get a McCoy's invoice
We
every
cut
day.
about 50 checks per month. So it's every week we have checks coming in and we're cutting checks for that.
And I was under the impression that part of the process is that in this report is that the board is approving payment for them. So that even if this is done during the week, it wasn't a board approved payment. If we're signing checks all throughout the week, because it's not board approved.
Exactly, I'm not following. Y'all are sending out checks every week.
Right, so I mean, if exactly, so if we have people coming, I'm just playing devil's advocate. If we have a McCoy's bill and Daryl comes in and signs it on Friday, then it didn't get board approval. So,
100%, that's why I said.
what you're trying to accomplish is not being accomplished.
100%, that is accomplished, the goal of having this work coming in and sign. The general is one vote, he can't approve an invoice. I mean. And I just don't know, I just don't know your vendors consultants well enough.
Well, and the other thing, Nicole, is there are a lot, like, for example, I'm just gonna use this as an example. Let's just say that we have a truck that, ends up with where we have to buy a new tire. Okay, so we have a couple of places here that we can take it immediately here on the west side, and they will push our truck to the front of the line. And they will repair that tire right now because they know that they're gonna hand the driver the invoice and they're gonna get paid this week. And so those are things that we're very accustomed to doing, and they're doing for us, that those benefits of that person getting paid immediately will no longer be available because they're gonna be on net 30. Does that make sense? And again, we are totally different because we're West Texas, and the way we conduct business in a lot of ways is different than the way that it is even done inside the city. And it's definitely different than the way that it's done in Houston.
Understood.
And so while I'm trying, so I called and I took the liberty of visiting with some other boards of how they do this. So what they do is they prepare a check register of, for example, we would have given a list of bills that are proposed payment. We haven't cut the check, but the bills are in hand and we know that we have them to pay. And the board would approve those proposed payments before the check ever left here.
Yeah, I mean, most of the districts that we work with, the bookkeeper has the checks already ready to go at the meetings, ready for the board members to sign. And none of them have late fees, anything like that. I mean, if there's, there's a few times, like, if it was like an emergency expenditure, the truck needed a major repair or been out of service for too long, yes, then go ahead and get that repaired and then present that, invoice to the board, and they can ratify the payment that's already been made. But I mean, a lot of these look like, I'm just looking at your March 2025 check, so
We can try it and see how it works and how it affects. We'll be glad to do it for 30, for the next whole billing cycle. We won't mail out any checks whatsoever, and
I don't want any late fees. That's the problem. I don't want any late fees. I never want that for myself or any district.
Well, we can pull out the ones where there would be a late fee and then go ahead and pay those.
Yeah, I mean, if maybe we could figure out, try to figure out how many of, these monthly ones are, due immediately upon receipt, or, that 10, like some of the materials or the repair costs. I mean, some of your consultants and the utility companies, those should be net 30. And then on this March detail, Debbie, I don't see my invoice that I know you got. So again, this doesn't even show me how many accounts y'all have, what bank y'all bank at. Does any company prepare anything as far as reviewing the beginning and ending balances of all of your accounts and reconciling it?
No, we reconcile our bank statements.
But you also are preparing all the checks, correct?
Yes.
Even the budget to actual, it doesn't tell me how many accounts y'all have, a checking account, an operations account, an investment account. The board doesn't see that.
And I made a note, we'll make copies of all the bank statements for next month. And make sure that they have copies of the most current financial.
Yeah, typically, my concern is the same, is when they see a reconciliation of all their accounts. It's typically a 5 to 7 page financial report, and then all the invoices and backup for each invoice is behind it. But some of these financial reports can be over 100 pages. And the bookkeeper they don't print the whole stack, but they have all the invoices there at the meeting. So if the boards have a question, they say, hey, what did we pay for total office solution check 7866? The bookkeeper can pull out that invoice and, show it to the board, and they can discuss the description of the services or the items purchased. But that isn't happening here. All the board has they don't get to discuss any of these invoices.
Everything is after the fact.
Exactly.
So, and again, next month, we won't cut any checks, and we'll have them all ready for a month from today, or when the next.
Without any late charges.
Will.
We'll try not to.
It's not real fast, we're not gonna have it.
Nicole?
So then we cut checks.
Nicole?
Yes, sir.
Why don't we try any of these, if there's a chance of late charge, like a McCoy's or something's net 10, let them go ahead and pay those, and then do the others on a 30-day signing of the checks.
And we can cut the checks and give you a list of the ones that we cut early. We can do that too.
Yeah, I think as long as, if the boards have a question on, when you buy the materials, is somebody internally going through them, making sure all the materials match the invoice before we send out the check?
Yes.
Yeah,
We're just and it comes down to just part of the transparency that we need to see, that we want to see. The only invoice that I've seen so far that I've received was the invoice from Young, from Nicole. I don't know why I haven't seen any other.
The reason that you saw that one is because you need to approve it.
Yeah, but
No,
you've
no
never
difference.
sent us any others that were within about. That's the first one I've ever got.
To me, that was like, yeah, here you go.
No. I did not want to approve that one because I didn't generate that invoice. I don't want to sign off on something that I don't know is accurate billing.
But Debbie, so on the February, maybe company check 7842, you didn't generate that invoice. The board didn't approve it. The invoice to the prior attorney, Carlson Law Firm, 7855, $12,300. You didn't generate that invoice. That's the equivalent of mine. But the board didn't see either of those invoices, correct?
No, but I knew what the invoice was for. I proved it. I knew what the invoice was for. If
But
I,
the services were rendered to the district. You're an employee of the district. I'm not understanding I'm not understanding that comment.
so if an
The
invoice,
company in Carlson Law Firm worked for the 5-person board. The services were rendered to the board.
correct,
So how could you approve those 2 invoices?
because the invoices that were for Haney and Company were generated by in staff. So we knew what we incurred. The invoices to Carlson and Company, I knew what those invoices were because those conversations occurred between myself and the attorney. The conversations that did not pertain between me and the attorney, I had the board members sign off on those conversations because I don't know whether you talked to the accountant or to the attorney or to PUC for an hour or 3 hours. And so,
Carlson Law Firm, all the work and only conversations he ever had was with the district's employee, and he never did any work on behalf of the board.
yeah, he attended the board meetings, but predominantly he didn't really call out to the board.
Right? And Haney and Company, that's the set monthly fee.
Right, for services that we know what they're rendering to us on a monthly basis.
If I can say something, let's say this invoice from ABI. Okay, so we have the invoice and we have signatures from John, which he's in charge of ABI. So he knows how many customers were billed. So he has to approve this invoice. Debbie doesn't approve this. He sees the invoice, but she doesn't approve it. John approves this. And then checks over $10,000, we have 2 signatures. So Debbie does not approve this, John does, because he's the
I
one.
understand that. But all these people that I'm hearing, they were all employees of the district. At the end of the day, accounts are key. And the only 5 people who can approve any check that is written out of any of these accounts is the 5 board directors. And all the work that is done is for the district. Legal, accounting, etc. I mean, for all of my districts, I may talk to a bookkeeper, I may talk to the fire chief, I may talk to a general manager, I may talk to a commissioner, I may talk to a director. But at the end of the day, the 5-person board reviews my invoice. But the same logic doesn't make sense why they would have to approve my invoice, but they didn't have to approve for the last 4 months or 5 months of the prior attorney. We're doing the same work, we're providing legal services. Same as the auditor, you could approve, the board would review that auditor's invoice to review it. And the board would approve that auditor's invoice.
I understand where you're coming from, Nicole. And you're not gonna get the answer that you need, so.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've been doing this for 15 years and I haven't ever had for one invoice is reviewed by the district, but the rest don't.
I understand.
So, I'm not clear on that process.
Well,
And I don't know if there was some past board resolution that authorized, employees to sign district checks. But that is not the norm.
Amen.
All directors sign checks. There's no employees that sign checks. The bookkeepers are outside bookkeepers, they prepare the checks, and then the signatures are signature spot is left blank, and they pass a big stack of invoices to the president and the treasurer, they sign them. If the president's not there, the vice president signs them. If the treasurer's not there, an assistant treasurer or a director signs. Nobody else signs checks. Coming out of district accounts.
And while we're on this subject and discussing some of this other stuff.
So we'll change, so let me make sure, because I want to make, so we're gonna change, because we can adapt to change. So we're going to cut checks once a month, except for those that we could have a late fee on. And those checks, we will go ahead and cut and notify board members to come and sign. We'll make a list of those checks to be part of the package of the approval of the board. Then all other checks and invoices will be presented to the board at the next board meeting to be signed and reviewed before they are mailed.
That'll work for you, Nicole?
It's not my decision.
Okay, that'll work.
It's y'all's process, again, it's just,
Let's try.
believe that this board is not seeing invoices, except one invoice in the last 5 months.
Yeah, and let's try this for at least 30 days, and we'll see if we need to make adjustments on it, we'll do it.
You
But
don't really need to be seeing the balances of your bank account.
right,
Yeah,
yeah, because I don't have a clue how much money,
You don't know
Yeah.
how much money is in any of the accounts.
I'm just repeating what I've been told.
Make decisions based on what is unknown.
I would like to know if somebody can explain why the checks are out of order.
It's because they go by description. So if you see at the bottom, it has the blue line, this is field. They go by category. So
By what? Category? You type all these out and set the checks in there and print them
I don't
out.
type them, I just print it out from QuickBooks.
Yeah, but you enter the vendor and the payment and all of that and
It's a
it-
QuickBooks.
but
Yes, sir.
can that be changed in the program? In the software?
And that's for, just to have them like order.
Yeah.
The reason they're not in order, because if you see there's a category like on the top. On the blue line right there, there's a category, so it's all, like all, you know.
Non-department operations and billing and collection.
There's 5 of them, there's 5 categories.
based
Yeah,
on
I see that on this March one, but on like February, I see it on February, the columns are slightly different. On the February one, it shows like count GF, EV checking, 4234. But again, I mean, there's still 3 check numbers missing, and you see them on the March report.
If you can give me those 3 check numbers, Nicole, I can, go and make a research and see if they were voided or what happened to those checks.
Sure, the 3 check numbers that, and again, I manually entered these in Excel and sorted them. That was the easiest way. Check number 7854. Check number 7869. Check number 7871.
Okay.
And again, just so the board knows, I did this on my own time. I didn't start the district. This was my own knowledge. Again, this would be something that a bookkeeper would be doing to, reconcile to see if there was a check missing. And again, I knew I wasn't seeing anything from Haney coming, but I didn't know if the board does.
I don't know if I'd understand it, but I'd like to see it. It's been a while since I looked at P&L.
But I'm happy to send y'all copies of, a typical bookkeeper's report that we get that our water district's clients get. So you can kind of see what a normal bookkeeper's report looks like.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
And again, I won't put I'll just put like the 5 to 7 page report. I won't put the 100 pages of the invoices and checks.
Yeah.
But they do see all the invoices and checks.
Okay.
Jesus, would you like to see maybe a normal typical bookkeeper's report?
Yes, I would.
Okay, I'll get that to you all.
Yeah, and if you could send it to me, then I'll see if we can't print the very same thing off of QuickBooks.
Yeah, I don't think they use QuickBooks, but yeah, I can send it to you, Debbie, so you can have a look at it. That is I'll send you, I know I have good bookkeeper they predominantly do most of our, months, but there's another one, Mac. It's Myrtle Cruise and Mac. I'll see if I can send you two different formats, just to get an idea. I'll say I probably like Myrtle Cruise's formats better. I think they're cleaner. But I'll send you two so you can kind of see what normal information the boards are seeing on a monthly basis.
Yeah, that would help a lot, because I was even gonna ask if you would be so kind as to maybe send us maybe a half a dozen of the districts that y'all currently assist, so that we could maybe go onto their website and see how their website was set up, or what notices and stuff that they put on their website, what disclosures they put out there. And so then that way, that would give us maybe how their agendas are done. And that way we can kind of see how we can adapt and change, not maybe overnight, but gradually to what you're already used to doing and seeing. If you could send me like six or seven of them, and then that way we can kind of get some ideas. Could you do that for me?
Yeah, I'll look at some districts, try to get some good deals for websites. For agendas, I'll say most of the districts we do the agendas. There's a few where they do it, but we review it and add the agenda items if needed.
But yeah, just send me two, at least a half a dozen of the districts that you do.
I would say there's not a set format.
Right.
So I mean, every district's a little different, but I think like you and I discussed on the phone, I mean, there's some just normal standard agenda items that are on every month.
Yeah.
And then, like you saw, like in the month of April, all our districts, they do the cybersecurity, the review of their investment policy, et cetera. So those are things we would add on the agenda, April agenda, then we remove.
Yeah.
And, when there's audit time, they do, let's review the audit, we have that. Yeah, I can send you a few different kind of sample models, to look at. And again, my role is not to completely change everything up with y'all. I mean, every district's unique, so I still want to keep the uniqueness about y'all as well. It's just for me, not seeing that the board review checks and invoices and seeing ending and beginning balances.
Yeah,
and then again,
we'll try to fix it. I have to go. I have a meeting at 6, so. Johanna's got to go pick up kids, so.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's okay. I'm just trying to hurry us along.
Well, we got too much stuff to finish up today. And we still need executive session, and that's gonna take a while.
Yeah,
we can hold the rest over for next month.
we can hold on 11 and 12 till next month. The cybersecurity doesn't need August 31st, so let's hold on there.
The only thing that I need, only two things I need to do is the annexation and then number 14.
Okay, so are you good with, I think we discussed that, we may discuss it more at a later point, but let's see if this process works for next month. And we can do.
Okay.
Okay, once I send some sample formats to Debbie and, Johanna, maybe that will help as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's good. We need to do 13 and 14.
Yeah, we'll hold on to 11 and 12 for next time.
Okay. Agenda item 13, discuss, review, take action on the annexation petition for Jesus Gomez and south 1/2 of Block 4, Block 10, Westmore Acres, located at 2954 North Redondo. Anybody make a motion on that?
Make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
In favor? 14 is all consent agenda items listed are considered routine by the board, will be enacted by a single motion, no separate discussion or action on any of the items is necessary unless directed by the board. The only comment I have is, I think on the minutes, we need to start including a little more information. And like last month, where it said non-board members present, it told who they were. And then under public, agenda 1, it said public comment. And there was no comment. Nobody comment. We need to state that there was no comment. And then under agenda 5, on your report, Debbie, I'll send you an email.
You would send, Debbie, what I had added?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah, so again, it's really up to the board. I typically like to see in, things that I attend, a little bit more, description as far what was discussed, even if no action was taken. Again, it's been very clear to me that, you all members of the public who can't attend the meeting, that's why y'all done the live stream. But, the minutes also help your board members who maybe couldn't see a live stream, don't want to watch it. They can just read the minutes and kind of just get a general idea of what was discussed. So like item under 5, we discussed it under the presentation that Debbie prepared related to the water rates, as well as the meter cost analysis. And so I think just, a sentence to that effect on both of those, at least provides members of the public with kind of a general idea of what was discussed. And then if it says, no action was taken, that's fine on either of those. But just saying no motion needed, it seems as if nothing else was discussed, and there was.
Okay, so if you'll just send that to me, whatever it was you forwarded to John, then we'll adapt.
Okay, so, I sent those comments to the whole board. Y'all can, approve the minutes with the recommended changes, if y'all so choose, and then Debbie can make those changes and get the minutes approved, or if y'all want to table the minutes until she makes those changes and y'all get a chance to review those minutes again, we can do that as well.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes with the recommended changes, by Nicole to Debbie. All in favor? Aye. You can give that. There's some questions I got on that general report, but it's 10:06. I'll make a motion that, we adjourn. All in favor?
Are we not going to close, Mr. Kelly?
Huh?
Are we not going to close session?
Which one?
So, again, I typically see closed as an agenda item, but.
Yeah, yeah, we can go into executive session. GM's gotta leave.
So, are we gonna table Debbie's report number 15?
Yeah. I need to say that.
So, Debbie, is there anything action item you need from the board?
No, ma'am.
So yeah, let's go and close. Debbie, I know you need to go. I think the one thing was, there was 2 things. You told me to advise the board on those 2 things.
On the executive session you're talking about?
Yeah, there was 2 comments that Debbie had called me, and she had one. I just be closed. I can certainly read a 1 sentence. I can tell the board about that, Debbie.
Yes, I
And
know.
then we
Yeah, I know.
need to agree on the deadline that we had on the one.
Yes,
lawsuit.
yes, correct. Yes.
Okay, so I can go into close and then figure out how to turn the lights on and make make sure everyone else has the room.
Okay. Thanks, Nicole. Are we gonna adjourn first? Hey, we just close it. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay.